Yeah, I forgot that, we do that, like, full party tattoos and stuff. How I came to run training on that.
Is Alex here right now?
No, it's on the news.
He told me he'd be here.
Oh, he might be swinging by. He was on one point. So let's do to make it easier, just scooch over one. Roll over a bit, and then that way. All right, we're gonna rock and roll. So they'll help you after if you get stuck on there. We'll go through order writing more later. Let me post this. Actually, better. Oh, there goes our board. This. See if this is going to hold here. Be careful going backwards because this is here. All right.
You want me to go ahead and stop this one and then just get back at it later?
You can't just save it. On the bottom, you can save it for later. All right, guys, we're going to rock and roll. I know we've got one more on the way. I know Em's on her mission trip right now. So she will be back this week. We will get her going. Really a great start to the weekend. Right on the averages. Super excited for this week. And just what's about to go down. I'm super pumped for SLDM tomorrow. SLDM is like my favorite training to run. I only do it 3-4 times a year. Haven't ran one since last July. So it's my baby. It's my bread and butter. So and it really, I've seen people. I remember Bob Adan, one of our guys, who he was at 1,300 at this point, so right about where you're at, Josh, and he came to that meeting and left that meeting on Tuesday. So his first meeting was at 1,300. Next day on Wednesday, he dropped $5,000. Next day, $2,000 or $3,000. He sold 20,000 for his fast start. He was at 1,300 right now. So I know like the power of that meeting. I know how much good stuff, and even advanced training. I mean, I have people leave advanced training and just pop some phenomenal results. So at the end of today, by the way, you're going to, those who weren't here earlier, I know some of you already started working on that, but you're going to make sure you get all your pay stuff done. So make sure whatever orders still need to get online. Because you guys, making sure those are online so we can look at your pay again. I want to review real quick. Do your training manual. What you guys can, you're going to need your training manuals. All right, and then I'm going to give you a packet. We're going to be utilizing both of those. But in your manual, I believe it's right on page, I'm going to share it. All right, so on page 30, let's see here. I'm trying to think. So Josh, usually that was the one so I can not get down. Trying to get in here. All right, so if you guys look at page 33, pay program. So this right here walks you through. So congratulations, first promotion. We got some first promos. You'll knock that out today, just shy of first promo. But when you get to your first promotion, you've increased your starting pay by 50%, which is pretty cool. So like you made $100 or approximate off your first homemaker. When you sell your next one, you made $150 off it. When you're at 20%, which is the goal to get some of you guys by tonight. And by the way, I remember Elias Palacios' first weekend had sold like $300 or $400 off of 3 sales. He did 11 appointments. He only had 3 sales, so $400 came to this. He was super bummed out. I was like, dude, just pay. Left advanced training with what I taught him with some keys in the demo, and the deposit program was huge. He left that night, sold over $2,000 that night to finish off Monday strong. And that week was number 6 in the nation that week. I had a kick fast start, utilized a lot of these. So for me, like Will Northern, one of my guys, was at 0, by the way, coming to this. He had stuff going on. He had demos that had to cancel, whatever. Came to advanced training, and that week sold $12,000 in this fast start. So anything's still out there running to go after. But this is your pay, and so as you guys hit promotions, you're at different levels. But if you guys look at calculating your paycheck, all right, so you guys have your time cards where you're keeping track of your appointments. And what happens is at the end of the week, we add it up. So payroll, normally we run it every Sunday. Well, when you guys come every Sunday, you come in and we go through this because we mail it out on Mondays. And we'll get your guys in. But we look at it and we say, okay, what's the base? Okay, what's the commissions? So this weekend, we did 4 appointments this weekend. Or
So we,
you got
you know, they,
8. Okay, so 8 appointments done. So we're going to look at that and say, okay, what was the base that you were guaranteed? Okay, what did we earn on the commissions? So I think yours are almost dead even. Today, you'll increase your sales. But if we ever owe you something, we add it. So if you guys look there, it says there if the base is higher. So let's pretend the base pay was $12. Someone did 10 appointments, you're guaranteed $120, right? So commission, let's say off your sales, you made $90 off your commissions. Then company, which is me, I would add $30 to your check. So on your check, you'll actually see it say commissions from sales, and then you'll see it say minimum base pay, whatever the difference is, I added on there. Cool. So every week I add it on there. So it says like if your paycheck's ever incorrect or it's not what you expected, like call right away. Like, call the office and let us know. Call your team leader and say, hey, can you go over my paycheck with me? And don't call like in a mean way. Don't call it, my paycheck goes on. You know, we don't want you not getting paid. Are you kidding me? The more money you're making, the better our business is doing. We want you making money, okay? And I don't want you walking around like, oh yeah, Kathy and that Cutco scam, you know, like they didn't pay me. Like, no, like, we want you guys paid. So if something was off, it's for one of two reasons. One is that maybe an order didn't process. Sometimes there's like a wrong billing address, or they're missing the apartment number, or just something's missing. And so the order was on hold. And so the commissions for the order didn't go through. I've seen that happen before. Like I had one where like the billing didn't match the address I gave it, you know, like so that'll happen. And so that's a quick, easy fix. The other thing is you might have not turned in your time card. So that happened to a young man last week who was like, I never got paid, you know, whatever. What did you return? He's like, I only got whatever off commissions, right? So when we looked at it, we're like, well, did you overturn your time? Like, oh no, I never did that. Well, that's why. You know, so we looked at what your insurance commissions, we added the rest, and we put it on this week's paycheck. So just know that like we want you to get paid, all right? So if anything's ever off, just make sure that you talk to your team leader so they can walk you guys through that. But you keep track of your demos every week. When you come Sundays, you'll turn that in with all your order forms. We'll look at the number of appointments completed, figure out what your guarantee is your base, look at the commissions earned, and we'll compare the two. Cool? And that'll be your next week's check. So any questions there when it comes to pay? You good? All right, cool. So I want to say, again, it was exciting to see. So did you just all set this morning? Who sold a set this morning? A galley set?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I saw it pop up. I figured it was badly written. But nice job with that. And like, again, stuff, you guys don't even know how to spell anything yet. You know, so I'm going to give you guys some tips, some keys. These are blue book issues, by the way. All right. To show you guys how to walk through. But know that in terms of results from first week, and I always tell people, like 10% of people, like they get off to a really slow start. Like everything goes wrong, like, you know, and it's not a good or bad thing. It just happens sometimes. Like don't freak out. Like I've seen some of those people go out and just absolutely crush it, you know, that next week. And so it's up to you to just like keep learning, keep up in demos and like what's what, you know? So not worry about it. But like I had people like Ethan Poole, his first week, he like tried to quit like 3 times. He's like, I just don't think I'm good at this. Like he just had a really hard time when he started. And then he went out, he was one of my top performers, ran his own office, ran my office, ran Tampa Pilot office. Like he worked for 5 years with Cutco, all through his undergrad and grad school. So, you know, Smartest Wednesdays, his first weekend went 0 for 6. And he was like, I went 0 for 6. And he was like super bummed out. And when he came in, hey Brianna, when he came in, just like, okay. He shows up, goes through advanced training, leaves advanced training, and by the way, had 100% closing that week. And his average order was still lower, it was like $250, but we worked on that. And by the way, the next month, his average order was $800. Smartest, his closing ratio was over 80%. He averaged over 20 recommendations per appointment. Like he got so many recs every single time. So again, you know, don't beat yourself up on anything. Like you just started, okay? So I think it's really important to remember that. 80% are right on the average. Most of you are we're looking at stats with stat this morning, like right on the average list, you know. But we want to show you guys to be above average. And then 10%, you know, get off to a great start. They're just like rocking right out the gates. That happens sometimes too. And I always tell them, don't get on a high horse, you know, like. And so we had that happen throughout the division in different offices. They're like accomplished cookware, complete set, signature set, you know, all through the weekend. It's like, hey, it's all about the next 7 days. It's all about what happens to them tomorrow. And so, you know, and those who come tomorrow, like you get Monday in your fast start as well, because the 10 days would end on Sunday. But those who are coming to SLTM, and by the way, around SLTM, you can still do 3 in the morning, 2 at night. and you still get a full extra day of the fast start on Sunday. Or on Monday, on next week to finish up strong. So that's pretty cool. All right. So I'm gonna give you the goods today. I'm gonna show you guys. And by the way, great job with recommendations this weekend. As a whole, you guys were rocking sponsorships. That's outstanding to see new guys rocking sponsorships. And I'm gonna give you guys some tips in case to help you guys out. I'm gonna give you tips with recommendations, with closing. I'm gonna give you guys how to sell, sets on your demos, just like keys through your demo, verbiage. And just things that can really impact in such a big way. And so I really want to make sure, and at the end, Ashley, Zyla, Lorena are going to be helping you guys out to go through how to really go out and have a big fast start, show you guys how to set up the week, what you need to do. And again, even if you're at 0, you can have a 10, 15, 20K fast start. It's really up to you to get focused and implement the stuff that we're going over. So know that we'll get you guys rolling. So I mentioned this in training. I always tell all my guys, 10% of people that you show Cutco to, by the way, never buy the knives. They just don't buy the knives. They're like, I like sharpening my knives, or I like bigger heavy handles, or whatever. You're like, what? 10% just don't buy Cutco. And by the way, when you get really good, you can reduce that to 5%. You still won't sell the knives, but you'll sell hunting and fishing stuff. You'll sell steak knives, maybe. You'll sell gifts, accessories. They'll buy hunting and fishing combo for 10 people as a gift for someone. So that will happen. So you learn how to sell other stuff. You'll sell cookware, pots and pans. And they just don't buy the knives. 10% always buy. I mean, you could do everything wrong. You tell them don't buy it, and they're like, but I want it. You could do everything wrong, and they'll buy. You do everything wrong, and they still buy. Why do you think they buy?
The knives.
The products are awesome. They see it, and they're like, dang, this is good stuff. And they're blown away. But guys, I'll tell you right now, 80% depends on you, your skill sets. And by the way, you didn't have much skill set this weekend. It was read a book, all right? And so the guys did a lot of the closing for you guys. But your skill level, your ability to negotiate budgets, find a payment that works, free stuff for them. And I'm going to give you guys some tips and keys with that today. And so your goal of the presentation is not to focus on the 10% that never buys or the 10% that always buys. Your goal is to really focus on how do I maximize the 80% that's dependent on me? How do I get better? And that comes from you learning your skills, studying every day, and just doing more appointments because it comes with experience. And so when we learn to maximize the 80% that always buy, and you combine it with the 10%, or excuse me, the 80% that's dependent on you with the 10% that always buys, that's when you have a 90% plus closing ratio that all of our top guys have, okay? And so that's what we want to get you guys, not just for the weekend or for the week, but long term, all right? And so there was 5 game changer keys that my manager showed me when it came to sales that I want to give you guys, all right? So you can write these down. Number 1 is sharing goals, okay? Because are they really tied into you? Are they tied into your fast start goals? Are they tied into your personal goals and what you want to do? You guys want to make sure you're talking to your customers and you're sharing with them I have the first week, first 10 days with this really big competition. We have all this stuff, and letting them know, hey, I'm working super hard, and have fun with them. Say, hey, if you want to just write me a check for $20,000, that would be awesome. Then I'll definitely hit my goal. I'll be like, I'm just kidding. But just having fun with them, really sharing with them why, how it benefits you, how it benefits you for later is really important. So in the beginning, do you have a thermometer set up? Are they signing goals? I remember Sarah after this meeting, she sat down and she made a thermometer for a fast start. Now you guys have a fast start, she has a thermometer there. She didn't have one, but she put her demo goal, made the marks, put stars, put down why she was excited about that, to be able to share that with customers. And that really does make a difference on whether they buy now versus later sometimes. That makes a difference on them going, you know what, let's buy Cutco for Father's Day. Let's do a fish knife combo, or let's do a pocket knife and a fishing knife or whatever. And then wanting to buy gifts, which they're going to buy anyway, but then wanting to get more now from you and buying Cutco versus other gifts because they're tied into what you're up to. So why are you doing this? What are you excited about? The second thing, this was huge for me, is making sure to build the value the right way. They need to know that it's not cheap, all right? And they need to hear this at least 10 times before you ever get to prices. And so I didn't get this at first. I was like, I don't want them to be shocked. And my manager was like, Kat, they're either going to be shocked when you get to the price at the end and you tell them the price, or you tell them in the beginning and then you're letting them know why it costs what it does. And so I remember him telling me that, and he's like, you want to walk through it. So I wanted to give you guys some different spots that We did that. Can you get me a manual? What do you need?
My
That's holding my computer up. Now, we can put the computer right here. Go ahead and let's
can't
let's
read the
rearrange
manual.
there. Yes, we'll give a manual because I grabbed these manuals here. All right. Yeah, we just need to plug the computer in, which is like you can put
Can
it
it
right
not
here.
sit right there? On that?
It's just getting the back of it stuff. So, thank you. Now it's all of you guys. Oh, hello. All right. We'll just put this right here. Thank you very much. All right. So, but can you, plug it in, that plug that's down there. I think it stretches long. Make sure that it's charging. All right. So,
There's a plug right here. You got it?
could do that. All right. So, on here, so let me give you guys a couple key places. All right. That you're going to be seeing this. So right in the beginning, when you guys start off, right, you're building rapport, you're sharing goals. Right in the beginning, when you share your goals with them on like what you want to do, you can make a plug and say, I'm assuming you didn't put away a couple grand waiting for the knife guy to come by, right? And you're like, but keep a lookout. So here where it says, like I said on the phone, you don't have to get anything, but if you do see something you like, you can get it today. Not only getting a great product, maybe helping me out too. Like right before that, I'm like, hey, I'm assuming you didn't put it, so right before you say that, that's where you can put, hey, I'm assuming you didn't put away a couple grand waiting for the knife guy to come by. So that can be your transition right here. So I'm assuming you didn't put aside a couple grand waiting for the knife guy to come by. You'll hear our top guys say, hey, I'm assuming you didn't put aside 7 to 10 grand to redo your kitchen today. But I do want to let you know why so many people love Cutco. And then you're like I said on the phone, you don't have to get anything. So I'm assuming you didn't put away a couple grand waiting for the knife guy to come by. But I do want to show you why so many people love Cutco. All right. So it's just a good little thing to get them thinking about numbers. You're just kind of planning that in the beginning. I love it. I'm like, this stuff is way too expensive for you to buy just to be nice, assuming you didn't put away a couple grand. So that's really like when you're sharing your goals. I have my All-American. I always joke around, hey, if you want to write me a check for for $10,000, I'll definitely hit my goal. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm like, this stuff's way too expensive for you to buy just to be nice. That's something else that he had taught me to say, which was awesome. I'm like, hey, this stuff's way too expensive for you to buy just to be nice. Assuming that you didn't put away a couple grand waiting for the knife girl. But I do want to show you why so many people love this stuff. Like I said on the phone, you don't have to get anything, but if you do see something you like, you can get it today. Not only getting a heck of a product, but it helps me on some of my goals, and then going through there. So that's a place there where you have it. Then when you guys go into the products, right, when on page 2, it says, let me tell you a little about the company. Since 1949, all Cutco knives have been made in the United States, located in our factory in Olean, New York. You guys can make a little note there right above it or whatever, guaranteed forever. Okay, so you guys can make a note, guaranteed forever. And it says it in your blue book. It just doesn't say it here. So I just make a little note here. I go, yeah, by the way, everything's guaranteed. And it says it here, one of the only products you can buy once, use every day, never have to replace. So you can make a note, forever guarantee equals cost more, So you want to bring it up. You want to say, so, hey, James, obviously, since everything's guaranteed forever, it's going to cost a little more, Or, hey, obviously, since it's guaranteed forever, it's not going to be cheap, right? And then where it says K-bar, all right, where it says K-bar, make a little note next to K-bar and say, these are the knives that protect our country, so obviously it's high grade, okay? Obviously, it's high grade. So, guys, we know when something costs, like it's the top, right, is high grade, is it going to cost more or less? More. People know, like, hey, these are the knives that protect our country. I'm like, so obviously it's really high grade stuff. And they're like, oh, okay. Then the next place is when you cut the penny. So you guys see on Super Shears, cut penny. So I remember right there, when you cut the penny, sometimes they ask you, they go, oh, how much are those, And I remember being new, and I was like, oh, not that much. Like, bull crap, it's the most expensive pair of scissors they're going to buy, right? But, by the way, they're going to have them 60 years from now. My grandma's had her since 1957, okay? So you buy them once, use them every day. You live the best of your stinking life, okay? So that's amazing. But they need to know this isn't cheap stuff. I'm limited on time, so I'm like, run. No, you're cool. So Super Shears, when it says cut penny, sometimes they ask. If they do, you want to say, oh, they're not cheap. You're like, we'll get to prices. They actually come for free, a lot of the sets. But I want you guys to make a note, because even if they don't ask, I do want you guys to bring it up. So right above, cut penny, or right below cut penny, wherever you want, just put high quality equals not cheap. So again, you're going to bring it up. Hey, so Uncle James, obviously, like once you get the penny, right, they see that and they're like, what? And you're like, say, obviously, you can see this is really high quality stuff. So it's definitely not cheap. So you guys you're bringing it up, okay? So they're like, oh, like you're doing a good job. And they're like, how much is this stuff, you know? Because when I started off, my first weekend, I only had a 40% closing with about $150 average order. And these things were like, this was such a game changer for me, but I was just like, I was scared of the numbers. I didn't want them to be scared, you know, but it's like learning this. So when I cut the penny, I was like, hey, as you can see, these are super high quality. So obviously they're not cheap. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, we'll talk prices later. I'm like, but it's an investment, you know? And he told me, he's like, how many times can I hear it's an investment? It's not cheap. It costs more. One of the things I kind of backfired and messed up was I did a lot of demos in Spanish. And in Spanish, when you say it's an expense, it's an investment, the direct, if you use the word caro, that's it's not worth it expensive word. And so I was telling people like, it's like, basically I'm like, it's too expensive, like don't buy it, you know, like almost like that feel. So I had to learn resume. They're like, you want to say it's costoso, meaning it's costly. You want to say es costoso, no es barato, say it's not cheap, say es una inversión, like it's an investment. And so that's what I learned that. And that was really big with my sales, you know. So anyway, letting him know. So be like, yeah, so, you know, obviously it's a big investment, you know, so you want to be saying that. Then we get to disadvantages of common knives here on the junk knives, you know, like you're building them up. And by the way, a key with this, we're going to come back to this with sets when you're talking about this, saying sets with wood handles, sets with plastic handles, you know, sets. A lot of sets are improperly constructed, sets with carbon steel. So adding the word sets before you say each feature is big because people buy sets. People are used to buying sets for their home. You know, so talking about sets, two types of edges, you know, sets with serrated edges, straight edges. So this is all stuff that you want to definitely, you know, talk about with your customers, all right? On the bottom there, you've got complaints of low quality knives, high quality knives. You know, you guys always want to bring that up when they have good stuff. Biggest issues, they have to be sharpened every time they're used, and eventually they will replace them. So anyway, you go through that. The next place, your building costs, you go to page 4. It says there's 5 features that make Cutco the world's finest set of cutlery. Make a little note next to that that says, let me tell you why they cost what they do. Hey, can we try to talk a little bit lower? I just need a little airflow in here. All right, so let me tell you why they cost what they do. So, okay, there's 5 features that make Cutco the world's finest set of cutlery. Let me tell you why they cost what they do. All right, what's up? So my goal is to be the #1 All-American this summer, which will be $125,000 and win a Rolex this year. You can always add that. All right, you're welcome. So you guys go through here. So let me tell you why they cost what they do. And now you go through each feature. And by the way, if you guys look, let me steal your manual here. If you guys look here, it says it. Like, Cutco is more expensive, but it's worth it because it's comfortable and safe. It's expensive material to use, but it's worth it. So it's always like, hey, here's a feature, and it costs more. So even if you're translating it to Korean, to Spanish, to whatever, you want to make sure, hey, this is this feature, and this costs more, but it's worth it because blend benefits. So each time you're talking about it, it already has it in there. And if you didn't read it word for word, you're missing that. And that's part of building that value. If you only follow this 50% of the time, you're only building 50% of the value. And that's not going to guarantee you a 60, 70% closing, or even never a 90% closing if you're not even following that, you know? So that's really important that you guys know that that's in there. So you go through all that. And then on the bottom of page 4, all right, we're going to transition over to the best thing about Cutco is our forever guarantee. All right, when you guys get there, the biggest, so on the bottom of page 4, I put the biggest reason Cutco costs what it does is the guarantee. So I say that on the bottom of page 4. The biggest reason Cutco costs what it does is the guarantee. All right, is the guarantee. And then we go over to the guarantee, and we're building that up. And you want to make sure, again, you guys put a star next to Cutco is one of the only products you can buy once, use every day, and never have to replace. Because that's why people are spending the money. And a great thing that you guys can use when you talk about the forever guarantee, I would make a little note, an analogy of Snap-on tools for craftsman tools. So when I go to talk about the guarantee, I ask them, hey, by the way, Mr. like to the husband and the wife, but I'm like, have you heard of craftsman tools or Snap-on tools? And most have. Some haven't, but most have. And I say, well, hey, this is like Snap-ons for the kitchen. I said, Craftsman is a lifetime guarantee. So it's the lifetime of the product. However long that product was supposed to last, they'll replace it. You have to have a receipt as a proof of purchase. But forever guarantee, what we have is what Snap-ons have. They're guaranteed forever, generation after generation. They can pass them down. Doesn't matter what happens. You don't have to have a receipt. The product is the proof of purchase. So that is the best guarantee you can get. So like if you've heard of Snap-ons, I'm like, that's what basically this is. Snap-ons are not cheap. They're very expensive tools, but every mechanic, every carpenter knows that that's what they should get because they buy them once, they use them every day, and they're never going to spend money on it again. So that's a really big deal. Cool? And you walk through the guarantee with them. So that's that. All right. So I told you guys the first key was how are you tying them in? The second key is are you building up from the beginning, you know, that it's going to be a bigger price, that obviously this is not cheap. Obviously this costs more. Hey, it's guaranteed. Hey, the quality of the materials, you know, so building that up. The third key of the 5 is set the stage for sets. So I already mentioned one of the keys, but you want to make sure they're thinking about sets. So when you walk into their home, when you're complimenting stuff, you're like, oh, what a beautiful set of furniture. What do you want to say? Sets with wood handles are super unsanitary. Sets with, and you want to incorporate that each time. Sets with plastic handles. A lot of sets are improperly constructed. So you guys want to go through that. So sets with. This next one, this was a thing that helped me sell so many more sets. Like I said, my average order was like $150. And I also didn't know how to use all the tools. And so I had a hard time connecting. So my manager showed me this. There's a couple, I guess, kind of 3 keys in one. So there's 2 phrases and something that you want to do. First thing is, he has his highlighted in here, is the nickname for each tool. So you've got the air knife, you have the small utility, spatula. So I call this one the spatula. I call this one the large utility. This one, so you could just circle it, but I'd circle air knife, small utility, spatula, large utility, turning fork. And why? It helps your customer connect the use for that tool. So when you're showing the smaller sets, instead of saying, hey, auntie, this one has the French chef, and it has the petite carver, and it has the parent, and they're like, which one was that again? Versus, hey, auntie, this one has the chopper, it has the everyday, you know, the large utility, it has the air knife. Like they can just put 2 and 2 together a lot quicker when you use the nickname. So for the butcher, I would circle or highlight heavy duty. For the chef, I would just always call it the delicate chopper. The slicer, I would call it the bread knife, and the master carving set, I would call it the master carving set. So those are, you know, your nicknames. So that was one thing that he's like, Kathy, this will help you connect with it. And instead of saying, hey, here's this knife, this is used for da-da-da-da-da, what Mr. Hoffenberg showed me, he said, Kathy, what you want to do is like every time your objectives, if they go, oh yeah, I use that. Oh yeah, I use that. So he showed me a key phrase that was just freaking awesome. I remember my girl Victoria, like the next demo when she did this, she was like, oh my gosh, you know, and sold a homemaker on her next one. And it was the next, so there's like, I guess a phrase of how you explain it. So listen to me first and then you can see where you write it. But you'd say the next tool in your set, right? And so then you'd say, hey, so the next tool in your set is your air knife. Do you guys ever peel anything in the air, peeling, topping off strawberries, bananas? But, okay, cool. That's where you would use that. And you just say use it until they go, oh yeah, we do that. So the next tool in your set's your small utility. Do you guys ever cut like tomatoes or limes or lemons or oranges or any small stitches? Like, yeah, of course we do, honey. Cool. Here's what you would use that for. You're not going to use it on the board though, like for spreading. That's why we have our spatula. So the next tool in your set is our sandwich making machine, our spatula. Do you guys ever make sandwiches or ever have pies or brownies or ever have casseroles? And they're like, yeah, of course we do. I'm like, cool, here's what you would use for it. And you can cut with it, you can scoop with it, and serve with one tool. The next tool is your large utility. Do you guys ever cut any medium-sized fruits or veggies or have leftover carving or roast? And they're like, yeah, of course we do. All right. And so what do you notice? There's key psychological words there when you say, yep. So the next tool in your set, he's like, Kat, there's ownership. Your customer's going, what's the next tool in my set? What's the next tool in my set? So that's a sales psychology, is ownership. What else do you hear in that phrase? The next tool in your set.
Set.
The word set. What else?
Tool.
You don't use one tool for everything, right? There's different tools for different jobs. So those are there. And then when you say, do you ever cut what, like, Do they ever cut? Of course they do at some point, right? So you're going to get a lot more, yeah, I use that. Yeah, I use that versus I wouldn't really use that. You want them saying yes each time. So that phrase of do you ever cut blanky blank? So you could write it across here and just put the next tool in your set is, and then put nickname. And then you want to say, do you ever cut blank? Actually, let me ask the girls for a marker. Hey, can I have a dry erase marker and eraser, please? So do you ever, the next tool in your set is blank, and then hey, do you ever cut? You guys have it on there, all right? So that was awesome. That helped me so much, and I started selling a lot more sets. Like that week, by the way, after advanced training, I sold over $8,000 from now till the next Monday. So if I would have just done a couple more appointments and not been so scared my first weekend, I would have done more. But that was really helpful. And so I started selling a lot more sets. And then I was starter set girl because I still was scared of when they were quiet, I would talk too quick and I didn't realize they were thinking. So I ruined it. If not, I would have sold 10K, But my first week I sold starter sets like crazy, like Callie's, Essential. I always sold all the starter sets. I was just so scared of the big numbers. Don't be scared. You're representing the best. Like I talked about in training, people are used to buying stuff for their house. You usually spend thousands on appliances for your house, not hundreds, and it's going to be enough forever. So don't forget that. So you're saying sets. That's a great phrase that I loved as you're going through there. Number 4 is you have to know your close. You need to memorize your 8 and 9. So what I've had my top guys do is record themselves saying it on a voice note, so you can listen to it in the car, listen to whatever. Ideally to a beat. And you're like, why? Do you guys know that the brain remembers things better when it's to a beat? That's why you learn these whole songs. And then you're you can't memorize 2 sentences. I'm not good at memorizing. You just memorize the whole damn song. But your brain retains more and it memorizes quicker when it's to a beat. So whether you make your own beat, make it a song. One of my guys freestyled it, and he made it a little freestyle. That he was he was always doing that. But Tyler was I'm sure you haven't had a chance price by going. Came to me and I was like, whoa, and he's I got it down. But whatever it is, but just listen to it because it just makes you more confident when you're talking about prices with your customers, when you're able to have more eye contact. So even initially, read right from it. But that is the thing that right now, if I'm you, I'm recording myself today, I'm listening to that tonight, I'm studying it tomorrow morning, is my closing, page 8 and 9, where I can say, hey, let me tell you why so many people choose to invest in sets. And you talk about that on the top of page 8, right? And then you dive into your closing and you're like, hey, most people haven't had a chance to price find color. It's like anything else. There's a wide variety of quality and prices, right? Cutco's top rated, so we only compare to the top quality stuff. And guys, there's a lot of psychology in here. When you go through and you talk about when it comes to high quality cutlery, like anything else, wide variety. Why are you saying that? To make sure your customer knows that there's cheap stuff and there's expensive stuff. You're aware that not everything costs what this costs, but there's a wide range. What are we saying right after that? Well, Cutco's top rated, so we only compare to the highest quality brand. So now they're going to understand why we're showing them big numbers, because we told them what? Hey, we're top, so we only compare to the top stuff. Then you're showing them. So basically you're preparing them before you're showing them those big numbers. Cool. Then you're showing them, hey, here's the top stuff. If you're looking at top stuff in stores, you've got Wusthof, you've got Schoon, these brands are different, high quality sets made overseas. They're top, top selling brands in stores. And then it says each brand has different types of sets which range in price. And again, there, your customer, you're letting them know that because now that lady might have been well, I bought Wusthof, but mine was a grand. But she probably bought a 1 or a 3 series. That's our 7 series fully loaded. And so typically I'm hey, these are top in stores. By the way, these sets, kind of like BMW, they have these brands have different sets that range in price. This is their top of the line, fully loaded 7 series. So these retail for over $3,000. You can find them on sale for $2,000, especially during sales. They're fantastic, nice, but there are some differences between us and them. And then talking about the differences, all right? Something that I was doing wrong when I started off, my manager watched me do my clothes, is I was trying to knock them down. So it was oh yeah, here's a competitor, but I was trying to only build them up to here. I'm well, yeah, they're not as good as us. Oh, here's how we compare. And what I didn't realize is the more you build them up, all right, when you compare, what do you naturally do? The higher you build us up. So my manager was Kat, don't try to knock them down. Okay, these are top of the line, some of the best you're gonna get in stores. But here's how we compare. And then it's Cutco's even better, and you're hey. So most people will tell you, Cutco owners like Miss Julie, Miss Joan, As Barbara, like they'll all tell you it's like 10 times better than anything I've ever, use. I know you haven't had a chance to really use it that much yet, but considering the unique features and guarantee, most people think it's at least twice as good as the overseas brands. And well, when something's twice as good, offers twice the quality and value, what do you expect to gain price? Yeah, and at twice the price, you're talking over, even if we use a sale price, you're talking over $4,000 for a basic set of Cutco. Are you writing that down? And when I was new, I was scared and I was like, oh, but don't worry, it's not. No, you don't want to let them know that yet. When I went field training with my friend Peter, I saw him do it. And his customer actually goes, $4,000. And he looked at her dad in the face, like right here, and he's like, yeah, like a nice set of tools or like a nice refrigerator. She's like, oh, that makes sense. And I sat there like, what? And it was like, kept going. And then he goes, hey, Miss Smith, the great thing is that it's not $4,000, although it would be if it was sold in stores. As a matter of fact, it's not even as much as these here, which retail, over $3,000. Our Homemaker Plus 8 is actually only $12. Cool. And they're like, oh, he's like, have fun, and be like, and again, I'm assuming you didn't put away a couple grand waiting for that girl, so most people just haven't. So what most people do is they'll use our 5-month interest investment option. And so what that allows you to do, and you explain the 5K that comes out to Coda, whatever. But my 5th key, by the way, was write all numbers down. My manager's like, you've got to write numbers down when you're going through prices, because most people weren't planning on buying, and you got to write it down so they can sit there and go, okay, where can I squeeze in the budget? What can we do? And you need to give them, to look at that and be able to think for a moment, because very rarely do they just say yes right away. So you need to write it down so you can look at it. When you're doing a virtual, you need to have them write it down. You say, hey, Miss Smith, write down $4,000. Like Jarrell is amazing with this. Jarrell sold over 40,000 all virtually. He's from the Virgin Islands and he's going to school here. And most of his demos when he started were in the Virgin Islands or in Oregon, Seattle, all over. That his mom had friends in different places. But he would talk, he's like, all right, so you're talking over over twice the price or even the sale price, go ahead and write down $4,000, and the person wrote it down. And he's like, so it's like buying a nice refrigerator. And then when he gets to this, he's like, now, great thing is that it's not 4,000, so you can go ahead and cross that out. You can write down 3,000. And 3,000 is actually what, the others that's retail for, they're over $3,000. You can cross that out. It's not that. Ours is actually only $12.12, so you can write that down. And Ms. Jones, you could pay for it in full. It includes the shipping, but most people use our investment option. And when you're doing, I'm going to show you right now the trial close, which is freaking money in the bank. Helped me a ton, close so many more sales now. Elias, that was his game changer. His biggest game changer was that. And then the trade-in special, which is just money. And we'll show you guys a trade-in special Wednesday morning. You can use trade-ins. Right now, the guys are doing it for you. Don't forget, people can trade in their old stuff and they can get deals or discounts. So we'll show you all the different prices for trade-ins, but that isn't money. People have even old junk they can trade in and they're getting credit for it. So anyway, have them write it down and you're like, hey, that would come out to a blank amount. Do you want to go ahead and get that today, right? So I want to give you guys Kathy money bonus. This is the trial close. And again, like I said, this took Elias from 3 out of 10 with a $400, his first weekend to 90% closing that week, over $6,000 that week. He was number 4 All-American, by the way, scholarship winner. Every rep that I've ever trained, the top reps, they all use the trial close. So what this does, do you guys see right here where on page 9, and I already did this with you, where it says 5-month interest-free investment option, cross that out, where it says 5-month interest-free, it would basically replace that bold, okay? The 5-month interest-free investment option would now change to 100% refundable security deposit. 100% refundable security deposit. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. All right, so 100% refundable security deposit. And you guys can put, 3 weeks, try it. 3 weeks, try it. So watch me do it, and then I'm going to give you verbiage so you guys can practice this real quick, okay? So I'm like, all right, so it's $12.12, paid in full, which includes shipping, but most of our customers take advantage of our 100% refundable security deposit, okay? And what this is, Auntie, is that you can put down a deposit, all right, security deposit, and the deposit, any set you want to try out, it's 20% of the set. Cool, that's what the deposit comes out to. It gives you 3 weeks. Try it out and see how you like it, okay? So the deposit to try this set out comes out to $265. Get it, use it, abuse it. 3 weeks, you don't like it, send it back. You get 100% of your money back. You have free cut for 3 weeks. It's not gonna happen. You know all this stuff. So you can call and pay the whole thing off, or we have our Easy Pay. It's interest free, and it's the same amount each month for 4 more months. So just charge you 20% per month. But at any time, you can call and pay it off. Cool. So we have something called Buy Now Bonus, where if you buy now, I can give you a matching kitchen tool set, entertainer factor, super shears, and then you ask for the order. All right. And you're like, hey, so I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. Do you want to go ahead and try this out? You can pay in full or just put the deposit. So you can try it, see how you like it, then make a decision. All right. And so I have a basic verbiage here for you guys. And by the way, this right here, I can't even do a demo without this. Like, I love having all my deposits. But on any given set, you have what your deposit would come out to here. So I actually had that in my book. Like, so when I was doing comparisons and stuff, I had it there. We had a typo here. It says about of. It's supposed to say amount. So if you can pass these down, don't flip any other pages yet, but we're going to walk through this. Grab one, pass them down. Everyone gets a packet. All right, who's missing one? Can I get one? All right, cool. So on the bottom there, so it says, or actually, can someone volunteer to read out loud for me?
I can do that.
Go for it.
I'm going to read the right here.
Yep, all that.
Now, Mrs. Jones, you could pay for it in full, but what almost everyone does is use our deposit program. You would just put down a small 100% refundable deposit to try it out. That way you can test them out with the family for 3 weeks to see how much you truly love them. After that, you could call and pay the whole thing off, or use our Easy Pay, which is interest-free. You pay the same amount for 4 more months, which breaks down to per week.
Yeah, so when you show them that, you're like, which would break down. So if you did the deposit, if you did the Easy Pay, it's the same amount, which comes out to $66 per week, which, by the way, do you guys see that on the breakdown here? It tells you the weekly. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's 2 people, what do I always do? I'm seeing a husband and wife. I just do the each. So I'm like, hey, so that's $33 each. That's what I want them staring at. Cool. And it's got to be legible. It's got to be easy to read. You've got numbers just everywhere. Like, they can't tell what the heck that means. So you've got to make sure that you guys do that properly. All right. So go ahead.
Would you like to pay for it in full or try it out for a couple of weeks for only today and go from there?
Cool. So again, you're like, hey, so Ms. Jones, you could pay for it all in full, but almost what everyone does is use our deposit program. You just put a small 100% refundable deposit, try it out. That way you can test them out with the family for 3 weeks, see how much you truly love them. Cool. After that, you can pay the whole thing off, or use our Easy Pay, which is interest-free. You'd pay the same amount, about $265 for 4 more months, which breaks down to $66 per week. And I break it down even further. And I'm like, so would you like to pay for it in full, or just try it out for a couple weeks for only $265 and just go from there? And they're like, and they just sit there. All right. Now, why do you think that this right here, why do you think my reps sell more often and bigger when they do that?
Because if they were like already considering they were like 50-50 on it, then having that like trial, they might be like, oh, yeah, I guess I'll use it for a few weeks and see.
Right. There's no risk, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a less risk factor. Here's the, they're more like, closing a sale is all about finding your customer's comfort zone. Okay. So this makes people feel more comfortable because they're not having to decide yet, right? They have 3 weeks to try it, see how they like it, and then they can go from there. By the way, this is how I close. Anytime I see a mom alone, if I see a stay-at-home mom during the day, I don't care how loaded she is. If I see a stay-at-home mom, when I go to close, I say, hey, by the way, Ms. Jones, most couples like to make decisions together for the house. I said, you could pay for it in full, if you wanted to, but what most moms do is they'll use our deposit program. This allows you to put down a 40% refundable security deposit. That way you have it, you can show it to your husband. You guys can use it for 3 weeks, make sure he loves everything. All right, and you guys can call and pay it off, or you could use our Easy Pay, totally up to you. And I'm like, but that way you guys can make a decision together. And I said, so would you want to just go ahead and pay for it all today, or do you rather put the deposit, that way you can get it, show it to your husband, try it out with him, and then you guys decide together. She's like, let's do that. Or she's like, I don't care, I get whatever I want. I'm like, all right. But what I'm doing is I'm handling those objections before they come up about, where we're going over. So just so you guys know, that's money. Like, it is so freaking great. So I want you guys to go through this. But again, they're just, by the way, this is the same thing as the 4th part of the Forever Guarantee. They're just not having to, they just forget about it. Even when you said it earlier, they forget about it at the end. And it's just a more comfortable thing. to explain it this way, because it's the same exact thing. Like the fourth part says you have 15-day unconditional money back. By the way, it's 15 business days, which is 3 weeks. So it's the same thing. We're just repackaging it differently, so it just makes them feel more comfortable. Okay. So I want to take a quick minute right now, and I want you guys to do this in the bottom, writing down prices. Like your paper should look like this. So you can partner up, and you can go with me.
Okay.
All right. So write it down on a piece of paper. So we're going to close them and do that. All right. So let's do it.
You only go with
Some music.
All
All right. Let's go.
Who you only go? Brandon. All right, now Brandon. You can pay for it all in full, but what most ever, what
You're
almost
closing on
everyone
the
does
homemaker.
is
You're
our
just
deposit program.
when you're asking for the
But
order. This is
You
a
just put
different way
down
of
a small
asking for the
100 down
order.
refundable deposit to try it
So
out.
right here, when you're like,
That way
hey,
you can test out with
I would be doing my job, like you're using it.
See how much you truly want. After that, you can call and pay
But I still want you guys to write
or
down
use our
prices.
eBay.
So start. Hey guys, do me a favor. So start where you write down $4,000, and then go through this normal, but use this to ask for the order. Okay. So let's do that. All right, go for
So
it.
I'm gonna start right here.
No, go ahead and just start. Yeah, twice the price. You're talking over 4,000.
Oh, you.
Okay, when something offers twice the quality and value of the last
When
price,
something
you would
offers
expect
twice
it to be
the
at least twice
quality
the price.
and value
At twice the price, you're
and last
talking about
meal, so you
$4,000
would expect to
for a set of cut coat.
be at least twice the price.
As I said earlier,
At twice the
Homemaker
price,
Plus Save
you're
is our
talking
most
over
popular
$4,000.
It has the 10 basic tools I explained earlier. 8 table knives, wood block, and a sharp straight edge. If you were considering a set of Cutco, would you prefer to
Well,
set
the cost.
table knives?
The great thing is
For the cost of the cook coat.
The great thing is that it doesn't cost $4,000. In fact, it doesn't even cost as much as Woodstock price of $3,000
As I
plus.
said earlier, the Homemaker Plus A
The
is
Homemaker Plus A set is actually
most popular
12,
set.
12.
It's perfect for a family that cooks 2 to 4 times a week. It has PG basic tools.
So that's where you want to say.
I explained earlier the 8 table
Instead of
knives,
saying that,
the 4 wood blocks, a sharpener for straight edges. Also have a homemaker set with a table without table knives. If you're considering a set of Cutco, would you prefer the set with the table knives or without table knives?
And that would take about
The great thing is that it does not cost $4,000.
to $66.
In fact, it doesn't even cost as much as the Lucifer price of
So
over
we also have a buy now
$3,000.
bonus, where if you buy now, I can give you a matching kitchen tool set, entertainer pack, or super shoes for free. Now, Kathy, I wouldn't
The
be doing my
Homemaker
job
set
if I
is
didn't
only
ask you, would you like to
$12.12.
try the Homemaker set
Paid in
today
full
and get your free gifts?
includes shipping, but for most of
perfect. And so that's one way of asking for the order. So guys, I wouldn't be doing my job is how you ask for the order. I want you guys to try this asking for the order. Cool?
Okay.
So go for it.
Okay, so now, Mrs. Kathy, you could pay for it in full, but what almost everyone does.
Let's know what your.
Okay,
Oh yeah, so it's kind of a combo. It just doesn't have the buy now bonus in there.
okay.
So you can play with it. You can just
okay.
basically you just at the end just like you put down. This is more explaining it.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And then at the
Most
end,
of
you'll
our
do what you want to do
customers
for it
take
full,
advantage
or
of
try it out
our,
for $265 and then go from there. So that's your new.
okay, now that's why I go here.
Okay.
Okay, now Mrs. Jones, you could pay for it all at what, but what most everyone does is use our deposit program. You would just put down a small $100 refundable deposit to try it out.
So I would say,
That way you can test them out with the family for 3 weeks to see
That's how you're asking.
Okay. So from there,
Yeah, so here you're like, I wouldn't
to
be doing
see
this
how much you truly love them.
gifts. If you wanted to
After
add
that, you
phrase,
could
pay
call
for it,
and pay
you could pay
the
for it
whole
full,
thing
or,
off,
deposit, try it out.
the whole thing off, or use our easy payment, which is
Okay, would you like to try it out?
interest free. You pay the same amount of
Okay.
1212.
No,
Hmm?
200.
Oh yeah, 265. Thank
This
you.
is, you're just going here.
265 for 4 more monthly months, which breaks down to $66 per week. And for you and your husband, that's just putting back $33 a week. Would you like to pay for it in full or try it for a couple weeks
You would have to like actually look up.
for only
Which is only
$265 just today?
Okay, so that's what you're asking.
Uh,
So, okay, what if I jump in and ask you? would you
go
like
from
to
there.
pay for it today and then you can pay for it full or just with the
You
deposit?
can scratch these
try it
out too
out.
as I'm going and then put it.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Do that, just do that part again.
Okay.
Or actually start from the homemaker, so it's only 12:12. By the way, you guys, listen, because I incorporated in here instead of having two separate things. So we just explain it. So you're like, so the homemaker set's only 12:12, paid in full, right? Which includes the shipping, but most of our customers take advantage of our 100% refundable deposit. It allows you to put down 20% deposit. You have to just try it out. So you're just explaining that. That would come out to $265 and does include tax. And by the way, so the explanation is what you have on the bottom there, except for the last sentence, right? So it's just learning how to explain, like, oh, you get 3 weeks, try it out, whatever. And they're like, all right, cool. And you're like, so we have a buy now bonus where if you buy now, I can give you matching kitchen tool set, entertainment pack, or super shears. So Miss Jones, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, would you like to try out the homemaker set today and get your free gifts? You could pay in full or put the deposit, try it for 3 weeks, and just go from there. Cool. So you're basically adding the last sentence of what's on here is what's going here of like, when you say, hey, I wouldn't be doing my job and ask you, would you like to try it out? You could pay in full or put the deposit, try it out for 3 weeks and go from there, right? And everything before that is just when you're explaining it, how to explain it. All right, so go ahead and do that again. Go for it real quick. We got to keep moving.
Okay. The Homemaker Plus 8 set is only $12.12 paid in full.
When someone offers
Okay.
twice the quality
Which
and
includes
value and lasts
shipping.
forever,
Most of our
you'd expect
customers
it-
take advantage
You'd expect it to be at
of
least twice the
our
price.
100%
Twice the price, you're
refundable
talking
security
over $4,000
deposit,
for
which you can
it.
try it in 3 weeks, and that's 20% off
As I said
of
earlier,
the
our
265.
homemaker plus aids are really popular. So
That's-
if you
no,
service
it's-
families, they cook 2 to 4
This
times
is
a
a
week.
20%
As
deposit.
I
Yeah,
said
that's
earlier, our
all
homemaker
explained
plus
earlier.
aid is our most popular
Some
set.
detail
It's
knives,
perfect for
wood
families
block,
that
and
cook 2 to 4
sharpener.
times
Okay,
a
so
week.
that's 20%
You have
of
the
the
10
total
basics that I
price
explained
of flat.
earlier. 8 table knives,
So-
wood block, and the
Okay, now I
sharpener.
got
Straight
that.
up.
I'm so used to
We
reading
also
that.
So,
have
like,
a
if you
homemaker
do
set
the
without
5K,
table knives.
And that's fine.
If you're
You can
considering a
but
set of
it's just getting,
would you
it's also
prefer
like,
a set with the table knives?
this is not explained on here.
The
It's
great thing
explained
is,
right
is
here.
that it doesn't
This is
cost
what you'd wanna
$4,000.
learn.
In fact, it doesn't
Okay.
even cost
So
as
you're
much
like,
as the
so
stock price,
Our homemaker
$3,000.
plus aids says only
The homemaker
12.
plus
But
8
what
set
Anna
is
said
only
really does is you
$12.12 paid in
have
full,
But most
which
people
includes
think
That's
you didn't get the.
But most of our
100%
customers take advantage of
Okay.
our 100% refundable
Like 20%
security
down,
deposit.
you have 3 weeks to use the product.
Okay. So the Homemaker Plus
You
8
could
plus 8
wait.
set is only $12.12 paid
We
in
have a
full.
bonus where
Which
if you
includes
buy now, I
shipping.
can give you a
Most of our
matching
customers
kitchen
will take
set,
advantage
entertainment pack,
of our,
or
and
super
then I
shears for
read
free.
that.
I would be doing my job
So
today.
yeah, I wouldn't be doing
Would
my
you like
job
to try out the
to
homemaker
That's
set
right.
Would you like to
and
try
get
the
your free
homemaker
gifts?
Do I have
You
to
can,
read that
you
part
can pay
exactly?
for in
So this right
you
here.
can pay for in full,
that's
but
what
what
we are.
almost
Homemaker
everyone
plus
Once you
does
pay
is
the
use our
price, the
deposit program
homemaker,
and try it for 3 weeks. And go from
that's
there.
what it's a different way of doing it. So
Oh.
this is like 2.0. You don't have to do this. You
Okay.
just
Okay.
read this. And
Yeah,
so
you
instead
go
of
from
saying
there.
$5 you could say, hey, you can use our
Oh, I have
deposit
to say,
program.
so I'll have to read this now, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're-
You would
it's a different way
you
of
would just
explaining
put down a
it.
small 100%
So this is
refundable
the
deposit to try it out.
If you're
That
gonna
way
use
you can test them out with the family for 3 weeks to see how much you really love them.
Hey, you put
After
down
that, you could call and pay the whole thing off, or use our easy pay, which is interest free. You would pay the same
And you can
amount of
either
$265 for 4 more months, which breaks down to $66 per week. And you and your husband would just pay $33 $3 each. Would you like to pay for it? Would you like to pay for it in full or try it out for a couple weeks for $265
You don't have to use a program. If it belongs to you, don't use it. What I'm saying, this is awesome. This is a different way of
Yeah,
explaining
whenever
it.
you say the
This is
price.
not type two, this is more advanced.
So
So you can read this out loud. You're just explaining what the positive is.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't do
what
my
I
job if I
understand.
didn't
I
ask
think
you
what's been
questions.
confusing me is that I just written it down there because I'm reading and I
Or
just
would
keep
you like to
going
try
and
it
I'm
for a
like
couple
boom.
weeks
So basically what
for
you're
only
saying is
$265.
the homemaker plus A is only 12 in full, and then I don't even really have to send you that. But the base level just talk about the 20% and the refundable security costs.
Yeah, does anyone, I want to do it live? Do you feel good with it? All right, so there's all your, so I'm like, all right, so the homemaker must say it's only $12 paid in full, which includes the shipping. So I write that down. And I'm like, Ms. Jones, you could pay for it in full, but most of our customers take advantage of our deposit program. So you put down 100% refundable security deposit. You write this down. It gives you 3 weeks to try it and just see how you like it. Cool. That would come out to $265 is what that would come out to, and that includes tax. All right. So we have a buy now bonus where if you get it today, you could actually get a free gift. Da-da. So I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, would you like to try the homemaker out today? You could pay in full or just put the deposit. Try it out for 3 weeks and just go from there.
Okay.
Cool. So it's a different way of explaining it. So it's something you can practice out with your team leader how to incorporate it, but it's a trial close. All right. So this never changes. This never changes. All right. It'll change actually when you learn how to sell the complete set or whatever, and you add the bigger, same words, different prices. That's it. That's all the changes on it. Okay. So this, you guys just want to get, you want to get your foundation here. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you're still just work on that. They're just saying some people do, hey, we have a 5-pay option, while others, and I learned that, and I love the deposit programs. It was really chill. It's like, hey, you could pay in full, but most people just put a deposit and try it out. See how they like it. Gives you 3 weeks to try it and make sure you love everything. Cool. And so you're letting them know, like, you could send the whole, pay off the whole thing or keep doing the payments. Then you talk about buy now bonus. We have a free gift. So I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. So you want to go ahead and get that set. You could pay in full or just put the deposit. Try it out for a couple weeks and just go from there. So that's the difference in it. So you can practice it, put the flow in there. But again, that's a more advanced thing. Like every time I meet, like, you want to make sure you have your foundation down first because it all like builds upon that. All right. But that's a different way of asking for the order. There's a regular closing, yes or no. And then there's a trial close of, hey, would you want to just try it out today and see what you think? That's the difference. That's it. All right. So instead of saying make a decision today, put it on 5-pay, yes or no, you're saying, hey, you could pay for it all, but some people just put a deposit to see how they like it, and then they go from there. Cool. So it's a different way of explaining that. So you just want to make sure that you guys are getting comfortable with your 8 and 9, like getting your 8 and 9 down. That is your foundation. That is your closing. That is what everything will build upon. Okay. And so I want to make sure you guys are feeling really comfortable with that. On the bottom, we've got recommendations. On here, like, you guys have this this pack, and we're going to be going through. But you can just write in your notes because I'm not. We're still on your notes. I want to go through because what's the number one way to have more sales? Have more appointments. Cool. Have more appointments. That is the number one way. So the rest of this today is going to focus on getting more appointments. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of different little keys. I'm going to help you guys with that, and the girls are going to set you up with your. For the week, all right? So let me see here. So you guys should have had rec binders that you guys made this weekend, all right? And so nice here. So we got a double sponsor. We'll put this in the front so you have that. And then you have a sponsor. So something you want to make sure, you have another sponsor, so great job, is that you have these highlighted beforehand. So these should have all the highlights on it, like on 10, on 20, on 30. So let me tell you this. There's 5 keys to rocking recommendations. Cool. Let me give you the 5 keys. Number 1, follow the approach. All right. So ask me for recommendations, James. There's 3 main bullets you guys are supposed to have down. Who can say them? I get paid every time I show Cutco. Anyone go from there? Cool. Get them down. Before you leave today, I'd spend 15, 20 minutes just get it down. I get paid every time I show Cutco, and I can only call people I've been personally recommended. So what I need you to do while I'm cleaning up is jot down 200 to 300 people who might be nice enough to help me out. I'm not looking for anything goodbye, just anyone nice enough to take a look. You gotta have that down. Cool? It's the job. What's the job? You get paid every time you what? Show Cutco. All right? So everyone say, I get paid every time I show Cutco.
Every time I show Cutco.
Okay? But then you can only call who? People you've been personally recommended to. So I get paid every time I show Cutco, and I can only show people I've been personally recommended to. That is the first bullet. Okay? That's the job. The second thing, by the way, is a joke, all right? And I'm gonna go over this hardcore with SLTM tomorrow, you know, but you're just like, hey, so what I need you to do while I'm cleaning up. Guys, it's not meant to be pushy, it's not meant to be passive, all right? So you guys are getting a little bit more advanced here with me. But it's what I need you to do while I'm cleaning up. It's a joke. So open your eyes and smile and say, so what I need you to do while I'm cleaning up is to jot down, 200 to 300 people who might be nice enough to help me out. Like, I'm just kidding. And I'm not looking for anyone you think would buy, just anyone nice like you to take a look, all right? And so here's how my sponsorship works. And you guys want to show this. So you want to have this so you can show your customer now and let them know. So when I get 50 sponsors, I get a $150 reward. All you have to do to become a sponsor is write down 10 names. I know Debbie wrote, by the way, she's a double sponsor, so she actually does write her name here 2 times. Cool. So that's how that rolls. So Debbie's on there. Mary gave you 10, and who's this? Sam Harrison. So Sam Harrison should be here too. All right. So you let them know. So here's how this works. All right. You fill out a full sheet here, and by the way, you need to have a full sheet in order for other people to have it. And that goes under getting set up. Your team leaders will do this with you. But if someone else doesn't have a full sheet, like they never fill out a full sheet, you know? So you want to have these marked targets beforehand. That's really important. Some of our guys will put stickers or whatever, and you want to hand them 2 sheets with marked targets because it shows you're expecting a lot of names. You always want to hand out 2 sheets, okay? But anyway, you want to have one that's totally full because then you point to it. You go, you fill out a sheet like this. You would sign 3 times, right? They'd be a triple sponsor. So you would sign your name 3 times. You get to 20, you sign twice like Debbie did. And even if you only get to 10, like Mary, you still sign once. When I get all 50 signatures, I get the $150 reward. Cool? Here's a couple sheets. Jot down as many as you can. Is it cool if I use a sink? And you go clean up, all right? You hand those 2 sheets. So you want to make sure, do you have your approach down? Your team leader is going to quiz you guys on that. You got to have that down. Cool? Another thing is staying organized, all right? And by the way, when you're going through all your stuff, like, is your binder set up? Like, this is kind of a little bit, to me, unorganized. You know, like, I want this first, or if you want this first, that's fine. This should be later, so that I can just flip and show them, you know, or you just have this here on the front, you know, and then I like to have the thought joggers. Who do you know? Thought joggers. And then the first sheet should be one that's totally filled out. So you can transfer, and so what I have the guys do is transfer all the people from here onto one paper, so that way you have one fully filled out, okay? So you can just transfer them on there. So you guys will work on that with your team captains, but making sure you have that. Can you ask for Facebook permission from your best friends and family, like your best friend's parents, parents' best friends? If you guys look in your manual, there's a page in your manual, page, what is it? No, actually for Facebook, check this out, page 32. Page 32. So asking for permission to say, hey, can I send a message? If you guys look, yeah, on 16, by the way, where you were, it says it on the bottom, right? Asking for Facebook permission. So actually, can you read that out loud, Rena?
Mrs. Jones, another way I get recommendations is through Facebook. It helps me learn networking skills, and it's a great way to connect with friends who you might not have a phone number for. What many customers do is allow me to message some of their Facebook friends to help me hit my gold scholarship. You have any idea how much this will help me out? Would you be okay with that? As a thank you for allowing me to message some friends, I can give you a free Cutco veggie peeler. Thank you. In order for me to be able to send messages, we need to be Facebook friends first.
Yep, and you add them on Facebook. So by the way, this is huge. This is really big, and the ones that are like, oh yeah, no problem, you know, that do this, you can get so many leads from this. But on here, what you want to do, so an extra, so bonus, have them take a selfie with them. Have them post it up that you're doing the job, all right? That way when you send messages, it makes it so easy. The message is on page 32. It shows you what to send out. If you're a student or non-student, how to kick it off. And then it says what you're doing. My assignment is to book appointments with people, show a product called Cutco. Like, it tells you what to type. So you can type it out and you can send messages, okay? So if you guys go back to, so that is a big thing. I don't know if you guys looked at it or talked about it in training, but if you look at page 16, you have first is the initial basic recommendations, right? Then the second thing is having a heads up text, having them send a message that says, hey, I want to let you know that James, our Cutco guy, will be giving you a call. He's paying his way through college by showing Cutco. You don't have to buy. Just listen, he gets credit. Thought you'd be nice enough to help. He's super sweet. So you can have people give people a heads up for you, which is great. Have it while they're writing recommendations, type it out for them. Like, oh, my nephew, like adjust it for that person and then forward them the text and say, oh, did you get the text I just sent you? Is there any way you could send it to them real quick so they know that I'm going to be contacting them? And you can adjust this. So for anyone who's not in school, and so for you, Josh, like any of my professionals, anytime there's scholarship, whatever, they just replace it with contests. Have a really big contest, let's just show it, use a ton of fun, so make a message, and your team leader can help you. That's your message that you can send out to people. The heads up text, when I started doing this, was amazing because everyone already, they're like, oh yeah, sure, we can help you when you want to come over. Like it just made it so much easier when I was on the phone. So make sure you're asking for recommendations to get the list as big as possible. Step 2, sending text heads up is money in the bank. And this is like my recommendations took longer than my actual demo showing of the knives. I spent 20-30 minutes on recommendations always because this was like the source of my business. And my demo itself only took like 20-30 minutes like for the demoing part. In the beginning, I talked for like 15-20 minutes also. So that was like where the bulk of my stuff, but this is your money, so can they send a heads up text? Like, heck yeah. And then here, asking about Facebook. Hey, are you on Facebook? And asking them about that, the people that what's great is as you go see their friends and they heard about it on Facebook, they're like, oh yeah, did you want me to send to Facebook or post to Facebook? All right, so this is you actually sending people a private message, but something you can ask them, and I gave you guys in the packet that you have, all right, and we're gonna go back to here, but in the packet that you have, I think the 4th page has the Facebook post. This is an example of like Philippe. So you guys met Philippe, right? So good morning. World's greatest Facebook friends. His grandfather put this. My grandson attends Texas A&M, working for Cutco. He's working for a scholarship. He gets paid to present the product. There's no pressure to get anything because he gets paid to show it. He can show you live or online if you're out of the area. If you want to help him out, message him and tag him, But an example one's here, but you can just adjust this. You're like, oh, a friend of mine just started working with Cutco. He gets paid to present the product. There's no pressure to get anything because he gets paid to show it. He could show it live or online if he's out of the area. Let him know if you're able to message him. Boom. And so have them post that up, ideally with a picture of you and them together. So whether it's an old picture or a selfie you took while you did the demo, have them put that up. You're going to get appointments off of that, by the way. And you're going to have people like, I've had my Cutco for 15 years. They're so great. And people commenting. So you have like free testimonials, like they're doing the sale for you. This is so freaking awesome. So if you can have a customer ask them, are you on Facebook? So I would ask first for the selfie, they can post something up for you, but then let them know like, hey, would it be okay? And you have the exact verbiage here on page 16 is asking for Facebook. So another way I get recommendations is through Facebook. So this is after they've written down names, asking them about that. Cool. Peelers. You guys can buy peelers for $5. $5. They're called CGA peelers. Stands for Customer Generated Appointment Peelers. For them helping you get more demos, and you can say thank you to them. Don't tell them it was only $5. It's a $40 peeler, but it's okay. I'll buy your peeler as a thank you. All right, so that's pretty cool. You guys can utilize that. So rewind. I told you guys there was 5 keys with recommendations. I'm going to open this. The first one was follow the approach, right? Making sure you have your approach down. Use Facebook messages. You guys can use those things as bonus. All right, but everything on page 16, are you following page 16 to a T? Number 2, stay organized, okay? So do you have your rec binders set up the right way? So making sure you guys are talking to your team leaders. All your pages need to be highlighted at 10, 20, 30. You need to always hand 2 blank sheets. When you hand a sheet that has names on it already, which I didn't see that in yours, but I did that, and a lot of people do that, where they hand a sheet that already has names on it, psychologically you're saying, please add more names. You don't want to do that. You want to hand 2 blank sheets. So psychologically you're saying, I'm expecting a ton of names, okay? So you guys want to make sure that's there. Number 3 is give thought joggers. You want to brainstorm with them, friends, family, neighbors, coworkers. Who do you know that's nice from the neighborhood? Who do you know that's nice from work? Who do you know that's nice? Who do you know that's nice? All right, you can also say, hey, who do you know who won't buy, but they're super nice like you, okay? There's something we call the rec sheet hand back. And so whenever they give you, however many they give you, you say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And you slide it right back and you go, now who do you know who wouldn't buy, but they're super sweet like you? Or hey, who do you know that wouldn't buy, but doesn't hate college students? Who do you know who wouldn't buy? Like that. And I'm like, but works and eats. And they're like, oh, haha. I'm like, anyone who's super nice and works and eats, I'd love to meet them, okay? So making sure, what up?
Hey.
Hi, happy belated birthday.
Thanks.
Orlando's good?
Yeah.
What's up, Travis?
Hey, what up?
Nice. We're having a little training sesh up in here.
Noise.
I'll talk to you in a bit. Go crush some calls. So anyway, making sure that you guys, so number 4 is handling objection. So again, every time like, well, I don't really know anybody, or they're always thinking of people that would, That's all they're thinking of. So if you guys look at page 17 and it talks about hints on getting more recommendations, that's what I was just talking about with like brainstorming. So it gives you a bunch of different thought joggers as well as virtual demos. So are you guys really utilizing all those things with them? And then handling recommendation concerns. So this is something you guys just want to study and get really comfortable with, and like, oh, I don't really know anyone. Again, they're saying I don't know anyone that wants to buy. So it's like, oh, well, hey, Ms. Jones, not anyone that you think, even if they don't say that, that's what they're saying in their head. So I'm like, I don't really know anyone. Like, oh, well, hey, that's cool. I'm not looking for anyone you think would buy, but who's super sweet like you, that works and eats, or, that wouldn't mind seeing me, that doesn't hate college kids, that's nice like you, whatever it is. I like the compliments. Like, I had a lady once, she was like, I just don't really know anyone. I looked at her and I go, Ms. Jones, we're not even going to play that game. And we had built really good rapport. You have to build good rapport. And I just smiled really big, and she looked at me like, huh? And I was like, you're too nice not to have friends. I'm like, we're not even going to start doing it. We're not even going to go there. And she like laughed, and I was like, no, seriously, like you're the sweetest. I'm like, by the way, I don't care if they didn't buy or not. Who's nice like you? I'm like, who's nice like you? That might give me 30 minutes. I can help them make dinner. I can go online shopping with them. Like, I'd love to meet them. So it was really cool. And then, by the way, that lady ended up giving me over 30 people. And like I had someone field training with me like, did you know her? I'm like, no, I met her there. But you build good rapport and just being real with them. And it's like, hey, you just have to ask twice sometimes, And it's like, hey, I totally got it, but hey, I'm only looking for this. So who do you know who's super sweet? And ask again, and you're going to get more of those reps. When I taught one of my guys, I remember back in Miami, I taught Eddie Rizzo the hand back, and I said, whatever they give you, sweetie, just say thank you. But, oh, awesome, you think they'll like this? Turn it around and go, now, who do you know who wouldn't buy, but they're super sweet like you? And so he did that on his next demo, and he said he went from 6 to over 20 recommendations on his next appointment. When he started implementing that and got a lot more people. And I was like, yeah, they always, whether they write 2, 5, 7, whatever they write initially, it's usually just people they think would actually be interested. So you just want to keep thought jogging. Who's nice from here? So it gives you all those ideas you guys see down on the top page 17. Utilize those on the top page 17 to help you get more names and get good with those recommendations. And the 5th thing was the peeler program. Are you using the peeler? You can give them a free peeler as long as they give you 15 or more recommendations. You can use the peeler for the Facebook permissions. You can use the peeler, like that's up to you, all right? But that's a great way to make sure you're at least getting 15 each time is, hey, I'll give you $40 peeler as a thank you for helping me get more. Cool? So you guys can buy those. We're going to place a big order for those. We're going to make sure you let them know that. So I want to dive in with your initial list because it is so crucial to stick with your initial list of names and numbers and really stretch that as big as possible. You don't want to call any recommendations unless you know them. If you know them, that's fine. But if you don't know them at all, you've never met them, you don't know who the heck they are, you're not touching those until you have over 100 of them, okay? By the way, it goes quick. You already have over 40 something just off your first 3 there was 10, 10, 20, 24, or whatever. So once you're over 100 and you've got your skills down, then we'll let you, all right? But you got to have your basics, your 8, 9, on your page 16, you got to have those down, all right? That's like if you're an athlete and you're going to play the game, you're not going to be out on the court or the field if you don't know the plays. The coach is not going to put you in. They're going to be like, blue 44, and you're like, what? All right, so you got to know your place. If you're a waitress, I was a waitress for a long time. You have to know the menu. Like I was a hostess and I wanted to be a waitress. And they're like, you have to memorize the menu. And the owner was like, take a test, like what comes in this, what comes in this. And I had to know those things before they allowed me to actually be a waitress. You have to know it, all right? Because if not, you're going to look like a dum-dum, all right? So same thing here. Your 8, 9, and your 16 are just so freaking crucial to your success. So if you're trying to dive in, if you only have a couple recommendations, it's like diving into like 6 inches of water. You're going to crack your head open and die, all right, James? So you want over 100, so you're diving into like 6 feet of water, all right? And we want to take it one step. So this, and by the way, it takes you also practice to get good at calling. So you'll burn through 20 or 30 before you get the hang of it. And so if you start calling them now, you're going to burn through them before you get the hang of it. So I always tell people, wait till you have, 50 if someone's like out of the air, like certain circumstances, but I'm like 100, 200 or more before you call them. Because if you burn through 20 or 30, you still have plenty. It doesn't even matter. All right. So give yourself 6 feet of water, not 6 inches. So everyone has a chicken list of people, and it's people that you're too chicken to call. There's people that I still had never seen that you're like, you could see them, but you're like, oh, I don't know what they'll think, or I don't know, whatever. I got into trouble in high school, actually. I got kicked out of my high school from my Christian school, and I had to go to public school. So I was like super embarrassed to call people from back in the day because I was like, oh man, I don't want to see that. Like I got into trouble and stuff, lost a lot of things. And so they were like, oh, just Kathy like makes such bad decisions. And I don't know, we'd moved churches, like just so much stuff. I remember my dad being like, why don't we go see the Hills? Why don't I said I haven't seen them since like, I don't know, like 9th grade in high school. Like we left Wayside my sophomore year of high school and went to a different church. And he's like telling me people from my old church, like, hey, they watched you grow up. Like I was there from 3rd grade to 10th grade at that church. And it was really our home church growing up. And Dad's like, they're going to be so happy to see you and that you're doing well. They'll probably be like, oh my gosh, she's not in jail. That's so great. I was like, thanks, Dad. And my dad was like, like they're going to be really happy to like hear from you and see like how you're working hard, you're working towards things. Like it's a good thing. And I was just like, can you ask them for me? He's like, no, if you want the appointments, you call them. He's like, but I think you should call the Hills. I think you should call the Monteros. And the different church families that we knew growing up. And I was so scared at first. And then I finally went. It was awesome. It was so great to catch up with them, let them know how I was doing, what was happening. I was going to my junior year of college. I was going to go study in London. I was going to Palm Beach Atlantic University, playing volleyball. And they were just like, oh my God, that's so great. And like some of these people I literally haven't spoken to since I was a sophomore in high school. And so it had been 4 or 5 years, some cases 7 years, that I hadn't seen them or spoken to them, but I grew up with them, So there's 4 groups of people that everybody has. Year one, you don't have to write this down, but it's like your immediate family and like best friends, parents that you know really well. You're like one of their kids. You're just really close with them, The second group are people that you know well, like you know of them, they know of you. Maybe you don't see them or talk to them regularly, but you see them a couple times a year. You see them Thanksgiving or New Year's or whatever parties, every year at your aunt's house, every year at whatever party. And so if you're like, I'm Mickey and Armando's oldest daughter, they're like, oh, hey, like they know who I am, even though we don't have like a personal relationship. The third group is your chicken list, right? There are 2 chicken call, as well as people from similar associations that you might have never met before. So they're from your same school, your same neighborhood, your same, bridge club, bunker club, whatever, your brother's Boy Scout group, teams, things like that. That you have a connection to them, but again, you might have never met them before, but you are from the same neighborhood, the same church, the same club, the same whatever. Okay, so that's the 3rd gear, and the 4th gear are just the recommendations that you don't know at all. All right, so as you're learning, again, think about driving a 6-shift car. If you go from 1st to 4th gear, what happens?
Oh.
All right, yeah, you stall out. All right, same thing here. You gotta go from gear 1 to gear 2 to gear 3 to gear 4. What I recommend is week 1 is that you're 100% on gear 1, people that you know well. Some people are going to transition a little bit sooner, but week 2, it's 75% people that you know well, 25% recommendations. Week 3, it's 50-50. And by week 4, it's 100% recommendations. But you want to make sure you're getting in 0% of your initial people because you saw them all in the beginning. And don't skip people. Like I remember one of my girls, she was so mad. She didn't go see her aunt because her aunt's super cheap. I don't know if she was scared to see her. I don't know, whatever. Another kid started in our office that went to Rebecca's aunt's church. So Frank goes on, sells a homemaker, by the way, to her aunt. And she'd already worked with me for a couple weeks. And he comes in, she walks into the office for team meeting, like, who's Frank? Like, you sold my aunt a homemaker. I'm telling her to cancel and to buy it from me. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, Rebecca, that will not happen. I will not approve that. I will call corporate and tell them, like, absolutely not. So that is his sale. She's like, but that's my aunt. I'm like, then why the hell did you not see her 3 weeks ago? She's like, well, I didn't think she'd buy it. I'm like, well, sucks for you that somebody else sold your aunt a homemaker. That sucks. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's so stupid. That's your fault. I'm like, see everyone you know before somebody else gets to them. That's so dumb. All right. And I've seen other people like that. But I remember, like, I was scared to see certain people. I didn't go see the headmaster from my old school. And then my sister's friend started selling Cutco. And when she went to go see the Andrews, they bought $2,000. I'm like, dang it. Like, I should have gone and seen them. But I was like, too much of a wuss to call them. It's like, you have nothing to lose by calling everybody. Again, what are they going to be like? Even if they're like, oh, no, honey, we can't do it, James. What do you think you're going to handle? Can't believe James working hard for a scholarship, trying to pay for, or like working with this company, getting some great experience. Can't believe he would call us. Like, no, they're going to be like, oh, that's so great. I'm so glad he's doing well. Oh, back from the military, doing this, like whatever. Like they're happy, even if they can't do it for whatever reason. Like they're not like mad that you called, letting him know, like, I started this new job and thought about you and thought you might be able to help me out. Like, it's more like, oh, that's awesome that they like thought about me, So anyway, know that. Don't miss out on that. Don't be Rebecca and have someone go sell to your best friend's mom or aunt or, 3 weeks from now because you never saw them. Like, go see them, all right? So I want you guys to turn. We're going to do a little quick exercise here. We're just going to spend about 10 minutes on this. I need you guys to move fast. And if you guys see here, it says attack list, all right? And we're going to get organized. It's the second page. So I want you guys right now to look at your list of names initially and write down anyone you haven't seen yet that you still need to call. So who are the MAP customers you still haven't booked up that you need to call? So that's the first thing you want to transfer them over. So look at your book. Who have you not seen? Let's write them down. All right, so yeah, perfect, from here. So who did you have to reschedule? Who have you not reached? Like, we call this an attack list. These are the people that you want to be ready to rock to call later tonight or tomorrow, and more numbers you want to get. So go ahead and write down, just transfer anyone you haven't seen yet in your book. Like all those names you wrote down.
You don't have the numbers yet.
And so write them on there. You can get their numbers later, but just write down names. If you have their number, write it down. If not, write down names. Who are people that you did not see from your initial list that you need to see? We're going to transfer those over. I'll give you guys like 2 minutes to do that, and then I'm going to do a little job over here. So transfer them over. So everyone you haven't seen, transfer them over. And by the way, you get stumped. If you guys flip to the next page, I'm going to read these all out loud, but we're going to walk through. There's additional people you guys can use for yourself and also when you're brainstorming with somebody else. You got it.
Hello guys, I'm Kathy.
You are not.
Close enough.
Hey, but it is super hot in here. Can I go get some water?
I can grab you water bottle. Anybody else?
I'd take some too, please.
It's $1. No.
Or just strip club. I got all
You work at the strip club? Are you a stripper or like manager?
Part
Okay,
time.
nice. What strip club? About it.
Shit, I want to have a weird night. This one we're going to.
Dude, if we go, look, I've been to a strip club once and I didn't even make it in because my whole group got kicked out. I literally took a limo to a strip club in Vegas and we didn't even make it in.
Really?
Wow. Thank you.
Let
And
me
I owe you
actually pass this
$1.
down. Thanks.
Yeah, I owe you $1. I'll give it to you.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Kathy just needs me to sit in here while she's in the restroom. Okay.
Yeah.
It is a little hot in here, isn't it?
It's like super hot. Where's that fan that I built yesterday for you?
We should pay it.
Yeah, for you.
soy sauce already.
Yeah, I know you do.
All right. And I want you guys to think and write down more names, even if you don't know who they are, because they might be year 2 or year 3. Who are other friends who are you're too chicken to call their parents that you had that you know that you could ask them for their parents' number, even if you don't know the parents. Do you have your best friend? Do you have, think about people that went to prom? What prom pictures did you see posted up? Quarterback of the football team. Write them down. And you can find people. I want to show you guys how to find people through social media, different things to reach out to them. Who do you know that's in sales? Did you write down your principal from your school? I'll show you guys how to contact them. That was one of my guys, Casey Downing. He messaged teachers and we made a little email and he emailed his teachers and he went home school and got some great appointments off of that. So do you have teachers, principals that you can reach out to from back in the day? Sports teams, coaches from sports teams, Little League. By the way, not just your Little League, but siblings' Little Leagues. Victoria Montalbano, her little brother baseball's Little League team, my brother's basketball team, my cousin's cheerleading squad, my sister's volleyball team. Like those were all people. That was huge for Mario Sabates. He's like one of 6 kids, and all his siblings play sports, softball or soccer or something. So seeing his siblings, teammates, parents, was a huge one for him. So think about that. Coaches for sports teams.
What if someone is a realtor?
You can't do realtor. You can split realtor orders with our realtor reps. We can talk about that separately. You can write them down. You can sell them for their house, but if they're doing realtor gifts, there's a separate process. All right, church. Have you written down pastor and any lead people from your church that you can talk to? Those are great people, even if it's a new church. About a former church you went to. Who do you know who's super ambitious? Who's oldest family friends? Like people who have known you since birth. I saw my mom's friend Carrie. She's like, I changed your first diaper. I was like, that's cool. And I was like 19 doing the appointment. So I didn't remember her, but she knew who the heck I was. She changed my first diaper. Godparents. You guys have brothers or sisters, they're godparents. Who do you know from other schools? Who do you know who's a minister, deacon, priest, rabbi? Did you write down all your out-of-town relatives? Okay. Who else do you have? Second cousins, third cousins, that live out of town. I've got my second cousins are in New York, my aunt's in Chicago, my sister's in Virginia. We call them Cuban cousins in Miami, people that are not really related to you. We still call them family, that live in different areas. Who has the nicest car? Who lives in a country club? Who lives in a gated community? Who's any kind of a doctor, pediatrician, eye doctor, dentist, chiropractor, someone who's a massage therapist, orthodontist, shrink. Do you guys have a family doctor? Like Dr. Richard was our family doctor. My eye doctor since I was little. I saw him and his wife. My dad's like, go see Dr. Richard. I'm like, that's weird. It's an eye doctor. He's like, we've been going to him forever. And I asked him if him and his wife would help me. And they bought over 1,300, like a homemaker and some other stuff. And they gave me over 20 recommendations. So they were like, yeah, no problem. We can help you out. So you have nothing to lose by asking. Because what's the worst thing they can say? No. And you wouldn't have had it anyway. All right. So might as well ask. Who do you know that has a lake house? Who do you know that has a beach house? Who do you know that goes on hunting trips? Who do you know that goes to a hunting camp? Do you know someone who is a fraternity alumni? Or their parents. If their parents were in a fraternity or sorority, they have all their sisters and brothers and people that they can recommend you to as well. Who did you spend the night at their house, when you were younger? First boyfriend or girlfriend? My first boyfriend's parents bought a couple $100 for me. They had Cutco, and they gave me a lot of recommendations. Who can you, if you're in trouble, who's the person you call for help? For any of your friends' parents that'll bail you out if you don't want your parents to know something. Who are your in-laws' friends, or siblings' in-laws' friends? Who do you know who sells cars? Who do you know that sells houses? Who do you know that sells insurance? Who do you know that sells medical equipment? Who do you know who's a pharmaceutical sales rep? Who do you know who has a boat? Who do you know who has a hot tub? Who has the prettiest wife? Right? Who's a coach? Who has the hottest husband? Who's family travel, like people that you travel with, your family travels with? Who do you see during Thanksgiving? Whose houses do you guys go to? Who comes over? Who do you see in the holidays, Christmas, New Year's? Who comes over? Whose houses do you go to? Write them down. Old babysitter. This was one of mine, like that I didn't see in the beginning. Marlene, and my aunt's like, "Have you seen Marlene?" I'm like, "I haven't seen her since I was like 12." She was like, "Oh my gosh, she goes to my church. She would love to see you." And her and her husband bought like $600. I got some great recommendations. And she used to be our old babysitter when I was younger. Who do you know who's a nanny? Maybe you had an old nanny. Your cleaning lady. Sarah Law's parents had a cleaning lady that came to their house. By the way, she bought a homemaker set from Sarah Law, and her mom was like, "There's no way she's gonna get anything." The cleaning lady was like, "Oh, I need these." Bought a homemaker on payments. So anyone who works can afford it. It's $33 a week each, you know, for them and their spouse. Who you know that plays tennis? Who do you know? Like again, parents of siblings, friends. Keep writing down. You guys can write more if you run out of space, like on there. But you can write on the back of the paper too. But brother and sisters, who are your brother's 5 best friends? You know, your sister's 5 best friends. Like I saw my brother's best friend, her mom, and she bought like custom set. My sister, her best friend's mom, Alexis, bought a complete set from me in like 15 minutes. She was like, "Oh, I need this. This is good. Okay, yeah. All right." And then actually Lexi started working with Kekko. She's the one that saw the old headmaster that bought 2,000 minutes. But yeah, go, you know, like think about your siblings or cousins' best friends. Any college professors. Who do you know who's in engineering? Who do you know who's an architect? Who do you know is a financial investor? Who do you know that works at an investment firm? Who's in the banking industry? Who do you know that owns their own business? CEO, CFO? Who's always playing golf? Who's the most successful person you know? Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. Who do you know who had like a new car when their kid turned 16, like gave them a new car? Who's the best salesperson? Who's the most likable? Who are your parents' friends that you haven't seen yet? Who are mom's 3 best friends? Who are dad's 3 best friends? Doesn't matter where they live. Who are their closest friends? Who do you know who's a fisherman? Who do you know who's into hunting? Who do you know takes cruises? Who do you know who's traveled all over Europe? Who threw a great like quinceañera or sweet 16? Again, brother or sister's friends. Who do you work out with, or do you know someone who works out? Who's a pharmacist? Who's a master plumber? Who do you know who's an electrician, master electrician? Who do you know that owns a construction company, owns a restaurant, owns a catering company? Who do you know with a jacked up pickup truck? Who do you know with a really nice truck? Mom's old boss, dad's old boss, mom's current boss, dad's current boss. By the way, my dad's old boss bought a complete set from me. My mom's current boss, when I started the job, bought like $400, that all knife set. And I sold some other stuff there. Think about those. Your old bosses, my old boss from the restaurant, they had Cutco for like 20 years and they bought more stuff. So think about old bosses. Who have you ever gone on vacation with? Who do you know that plays guitar? Who do you know that drives an expensive car? Childhood good friend? Who's in auto sales or owns a dealership? Keep thinking. Every year they send you Christmas cards or birthday cards. Who do you get cards from? Who does your mom get cards from? They like post all the cards on the door or on the refrigerator. All right. Who works at a spa or health club? Who owns a spa or health club? Any kind of lawyer? Have you ever had a lawyer? Have your parents ever had a lawyer? What neighbors have you not seen? I knocked on our neighbors' doors. Don't take your bag and everything, but I just was like, "Oh, I'm your neighbor from up the street." They're like, "Oh," I'm like, "I've never met you. My name's Kathy." You know, my parents had moved into a neighborhood. I grew up in an apartment, but when I was in college, they moved into a neighborhood, so I didn't know anyone there. But when I come home on the weekends, sometimes I'd see people outside, and then I was like, "Mom, do you know any neighbors?" She's like, "I don't talk to anybody." So I was like, "Forget it. I'm just gonna go talk to them." And I like knocked on neighbors' doors, and Rusty Davis and his wife, I met them. They were always with their boys outside, and they had Henkel's. They bought 8 steak knives from me. They bought scissors, a spatula, and got me some great recommendations. The neighbors behind us bought a homemaker from me. The neighbors 2 doors over bought a all night from me, and I got great recommendations from all of them. So I wouldn't walk over with your bag and everything. I just walk over as a friend, like, oh yeah, I live right down the street. I was just seeing if some of the nice neighbors might be able to help me out. Working with a company called Cutco, I get paid to show the products. It takes 20 minutes or so. I said it can take longer if we cook stuff up. I can chop stuff up with you. I'm like, but I get paid just to do it, So just letting them know, and I got some great appointments like that, So think about that. If you had a former neighborhood, that was like Tyler Tar's bread and butter. Where did you grow up? The parents' neighbors. Who do you know who just got married? Who do you know that is the most noble? Aunts, uncles, cousins, people's parents. Do you know people that ski? Do you know people that golf? Do you go skiing with anyone? Do you go golfing with anyone? Who do you know is part of the church choir? They got all them ladies, and they cook, all right? So who do you know from the church choir? Have you gone through your whole mom's address book? Who do you know who's a principal at a school? Middle school, high school? Who do you know who's a policeman, a policewoman, firefighters? They work in a hospital, a doctor, a nurse. Like my sister-in-law is a PA, physician's assistant. My brother is a firefighter in Miami. They work funky hours. So they work like 24-hour shifts or 12-hour shifts and then they're off for a couple of days. And so you can catch them during the day too. And it's a great way to get more daytime. If you have anyone who's in hospitals or firefighters or police officers, they work different hours, Who do you know that owns your own business? Who do you know who swims? Who do you know that lifts weights? Who do you know is part of a football team? Do you know any pro athletes? All right, jot them down. So that's just to get your guys' brains going again. Did anyone think of a couple extra people that we didn't think about before? All right, so you want to always be adding, always be adding because there's more. Your grandma has more, your aunt has more, there's more, all right? Who got 5 or more people? Raise your hand, who got 5 or more? 10 or more people? 15 or more people? 20 or more people? 30 or more people? Nice. 40 or more people? 50 or more people? All right, nice. Over 60? All right, somewhere in that bracket? Cool. So you want to keep, and by the way, so you want to collect those numbers. You want to talk to people and see who has their number. You guys can check on whitepages.com. There's different reverse lookups and stuff for people. You can call grandma, you can call auntie and see who has their numbers, but just collecting those numbers. So who are your top 10 now, if you had to rank those that you want to see, from today through Wednesday? So who are the next best 5? Like, who are we seeing tonight? And I'll tell you this, maybe like I heard you already have like 2 appointments booked up for tonight. But if one of your best 5 that you haven't seen yet can see you tonight, what do you want to do? You want to see them tonight and just move the other one. You want to get your best 5 like right away. So make sure we rank those so you guys know from now till team meeting, who are we seeing tonight? Who are we seeing tomorrow? Who can we upgrade appointments with? But by the way, you guys want to make sure use school directories, use church directories. Like you brought a school directory.
Yeah, I got a referral.
Nice,
How
he gave you.
Yeah.
And they were like, here's the whole school directory. One of the girls just got a school directory for Houston Christian. Like, get a school directory or a church directory or a neighborhood directory. Or I got the Boy Scouts list, all the moms. Like when they play sports, like the moms have the list of all the other moms. So those are great things to bring up to them. And they're like, oh yeah. James Rushing, when I went on his demo, the lady's like, oh, and she had her daughters went to different schools because they were like middle school, whatever. And she had like their school directories, church directories. Like, oh, you can just have the directories or take the names you want and put them back in my mailbox. And she was like, yeah, no problem. She was really excited to help him out. So again, that goes back to like how you build rapport and how they're tied into you and they want to help you. And they're like, yeah, they have resources. They have tons of people. You get a directory, I mean, that's 100 plus right there, and people that you could contact with potentially. So grad party lists, I mean, think about right now, the graduation parties, like a lot of the parents have those put together. So, how many do you have from those resources and who do you feel comfortable calling? And like I said, a bonus that you guys can all do today, have your parents find a picture of you and your sister or you and your dad or you and whoever it is that you're asking, or just give them a picture of you really like. Have them post a picture of and say, hey, my son, my brother, my sister, whoever is working with Cutco, and you guys have the sample message in here so that they can post that up for you. And guys, you will get appointments off of that, and you will get testimonials off of that, which is great. So ask them, even if it's that's one extra demo, and you never know what one that could be. For Veronica Trader, she had a customer of hers did that, put a selfie of them up, and someone comments, "Oh, I love my Cutco." And one lady goes, "Oh, I need some more Cutco. I love Cutco." Veronica called her. Lady needed to buy a couple things. I think she said it was going to be like a $500 to $800 order. And then she's like, "Oh, we have specials with this, that." In 15 minutes over the phone, Veronica ends up with a $3,000 order. Just from a lady who saw a post of her friends on Facebook that she was working with Cutco. So she never even went over and did a demo. I don't know if she went later, but I know that in 15 minutes she wrote up a $3,000 order and put it online. All right. So who would be excited about that, by the way? Can't guarantee you that, but do you want to put everything out there? It's like, are all your resources out there? Are all your filters out there? Are you getting as many leads? Are you getting as much exposure? So that's a very simple thing is ask grandma, ask mom, ask auntie, ask best friend's mom. Hey, can you put a post up for me on Facebook so that people know what I'm doing? You will get more people. Cool. So make sure that you guys are utilizing that. So that's a resource for you guys. Everyone good? All right. So now, how do we contact them? So you have on here, by the way, just so you guys have for your book, you've got phone tips, which we're going to go over the stuff that's in the book, but it tells you just important points on how many, like setting a goal before you get on the phone. But our guys know, like, their phone, like I remember Alfredo had figured it all out, put all the numbers together, and he's like, every time I press a button, it's $12.67. And he's like, I've calculated how many calls it takes me to get an appointment, how many appointments to get a sale, my average order, my commissions I earned. He did all the math. He's an engineer, whatever. He did all the math. And he's like, every time I press a button, it's $12.67. And he's like, so think about it like that. He's like, so look at your phone like an ATM machine. The more buttons you press, the more money comes out, all right? Versus when I started off, I was like super scared. I'm like, I don't want to call this person. But it's like, he's like, they don't even have to pick up. If I just press a button, I make $12, And that was like how he looked at it. He's like, all right, let's go, money making time. So making sure you dial. But if you guys look here, it tells you set a goal before you get on the phone. So do you have your times all mapped out? The girls are going to do that with you guys at the end. Like I just said, your phone is your ATM machine. The more buttons you press, the more money you make. Third, it says follow the approach word for word. Don't start doing your own thing. You're going to hurt it. It works. Just use it. Make calls in the office as much as possible. That's a better environment, So always come to the office. Props to Billy. Too bad no one was here, but, he came here Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m., ready to want calls. He made calls in his car for a while, and then I was like, oh, well, my house is down the road. If you want to come work at the office there, I have an office there. So the top guys will come over, Chavez and stuff, and do calls there. But whenever you're like at the office or at a place where you can be more focused, you have less distractions. When I was home, my mom would be like, take out the trash or go do this. Or even if it was like my old roommate, like, oh, you want to watch a movie? Or I'm like, dude, I'm trying to work. But they see you there, and so they don't think about it, So go to the office anytime possible. Stick with your initial list. We already talked about that as much as possible. Make sure you guys are calling, anyone that said, oh, yeah, I'll help you out. Or they say on Facebook, oh, yeah, I'll do it. Call them right away. Look them up, The sooner you get, if you get a yes, or like, oh, my friend wants to see you, and you already know that, they've talked to them, or they put something up, or they texted them, and they're like, oh, yeah, heck yeah. Put those up right away, all right? If your customer is willing, and this is something that you guys have on the back here, and I'll talk about this more tomorrow, but if your customer is willing to call their friends for you and say, hey, I have a nice student named Bradley, he's studying at blank or wanting to go back to school or whatever it is, that you have here. He's working toward a scholarship showing Cutco. And you guys can adjust and make your own, by the way. This is just a sample, a student sample. But you'd be willing, there's no obligation to buy. If you want to help her out, please don't say, hey, do you need knives? Or don't talk about prices. Just looking to do appointments with nice people. And I had my customers, I asked them if they could call the top 2 or 3 all the time and just give them a quick heads up. And I told them, hey, if you talk to 3 people that say yes, I'll give you a free peeler. That's what I use the peeler for. So I always had more appointments. I'd leave the house with more appointments booked up. So learning how to really rock that. So again, we got to get your foundations down, but these are all things that help you get more appointments that we can help you guys out with. It says phone must-dos, all right? What does it say? First one.
Smile when you dial.
Smile when you dial, all right? When you're like this, you sound different than when you're like this. If I'm like, I don't like you, try to say like, I don't like you, but say it like this. Like try to sound mean, try.
I don't like you.
Your vocal cords just do different things, all right? So know that. But smile, all right? Be enthusiastic. It's how you say something. You can say, I have a big contest that ends on Monday. I'm working really hard. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or like, hey, I have this really big contest that ends on Monday, and I've been working really hard. Do you guys see the difference? All right, I said the same freaking thing. But how you say something can give a different meaning and can connect people in a different way. So you might be sharing your goals, but you're like, yeah, I want to do this. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Versus like when you share passionately and you share excited, your goals, that's what Tay's working on her stuff right now. She's going after a big goal this summer and just really making sure she's tying customers in the right way. It's one of the most important parts of your whole freaking presentation. is how you tie them in. So ask for the wife on the phone. You want to talk to the women. The women are the ones that have the address book. That's your business. Even if the guy cooks more, she's going to give you more people. Have them there together, or see the woman. Very rare we ever see a husband. Like, I just wouldn't want to see a husband alone. It's a single guy, that's different. But if they're married, he's going to love everything. But you got to check with the wife to see what color, what matches the kitchen. Like most women finalize stuff that go inside of the house. Women usually finalize most of that. The guy will give his opinion, but at the end, she's going to get whatever the heck she wants. The guys usually finalize a lot of the stuff that ends up outside. Tools, fences, cars, things like that, and like major appliances. So he might say, these are the good ones. She picks out the color of what looks pretty,
Mhm.
And by the way, this is not like a random, like this is since you're little. Like, what are girls doing? Playing with dollhouses, fixing houses. Like, you just care more about it. Guys like smashing cars into the wall. So just like, and again, that's a generalization, but that's how you like grow up. And what you see is girls just care more about that. It's like the wedding dress. I bought my wedding dress this weekend finally. Super excited about it. My sister and my girlfriends came and they were like, oh my God, or they were all talking, like on tears. And when we got to the house, my husband's like, I don't get, like my guys don't come with him. And they're like, oh my God, you look so good in that suit. And the guys are crying. Like, it's not that, it's just different, but it's like a really big thing and a really big deal. Getting that, it's like you've been dreaming about this since you're like a little girl and being like princess on your wedding day and all this stuff. And girls just care about like certain things more than guys do, like again, in general. So you have here, talking about the front. Hey, Susie thought you'd really love it. Put a star next to always offer a choice of 2 times, right? And if they can't do those times, then you're like, oh, is it better for you Friday or Saturday? Like offer a choice of 2. But I usually like times of the day. Is it better for you in the morning or in the evening? All right, cool. But I always offer my next 2 available times. And if not, I find out what they have going on. So get directions, read them back to them, tie them into your goal. We talked about that. Create urgency. Hey, I'm trying to do 10 appointments by Wednesday to hit my goal. Hey, I've got to do 2 more appointments today to hit my goal. Hey, I've got to get 2 more for tomorrow to hit my goal. Like whatever it is that you need to book, building urgency, show appreciation, thanking them. Oh, thank you so much. Have fun to hand me the highlight of your day, but let them know like, hey, we're gonna have a great time. Thank you so much for taking time out for me. Like make them feel good about that. All right. Make sure that you confirm the date and time. Make sure they write it down. Right. Don't call ahead. Like if they say call me before you come, like that's not a definite appointment. Book someone else up in that spot. If you have to call before you go, you're getting canceled on 90% of the time, just so you know. So if they tell you call me before, just say, oh, hey, Miss Smith, I totally could. But just in case, because I'm going to be going for like appointment to appointment, just in case I don't catch you, is it better later at night or the night? I'd rather find a time that you know is good for you, just in case. Move the time. Get a time they're good with. And if they're like, I just don't know my schedule, then it's like, whatever, you have them there. But I'm still going to book someone else in that spot if someone wants it. Like, I'm not reserving a spot for anyone who told me to call them before I come because I know that 90% of those end up getting canceled. All right. So the only time I call is if I booked them up more than 2 days in advance, I'll call, but I call 2 days before. So if I'm talking to someone right now, right, and they're like, oh, I'm out of town, honey, we get home Friday. While I have them on the phone, I'll go ahead and book them for Saturday. Cool, so I don't have to feel like it's booked. But Thursday, I'm going to shoot them a text and say, hey, can't wait for our appointment on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Thank you again for helping out with my goal. And then they'll either go, yeah, we can't wait to see you, or they'll say, oh, Billy, thank you. Oh, my God, thank you for the reminder. Actually, we extended our vacation longer, or this happened, or whatever. Hey, it's okay. It's Thursday. What do I still have time to do? Book someone else, and that's fine. Okay? So if I ever have to book people out in advance for whatever reason, and usually it's because they were like out of town on a family vacation or something's going on, I'll book them. If they have a schedule, I'll book them. And then 2 days before, I send the thank you so much. Can't wait to see you. Just shooting you a quick reminder for our appointment Saturday at 2. We're going to have a blast or whatever you want to say. Okay. But it's not can you still do the appointment? Did you guys see that? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm thanking them again for helping me. Can't wait to see you. So then even if they're like, oh, okay, no, I'll just help them. Whereas if you ask, is it still okay? Oh, they could, say no. So that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying thank you. Can't wait to see you. But if they do cancel, I have time to book somebody else. Okay. Then guys, it says phone must nots. Can you read those out loud for me? Phone must nots.
Don't set appointments before then 3 to 4 days in advance. They might forget.
Yeah, okay. And if you ever have to, just 2 days before, send thank you so much. Can't wait to see you text, or can't wait to meet you text. All right. Mm-hmm.
They'll be afraid to ask for an immediate appointment. Sorry. If they pick up, they are.
And that's a little bit different now because everyone lives off of cell phones. We don't have house phones anymore. But just don't be afraid to ask, especially evenings and weekends. Like if people are home, they'll do it. They're like, oh, sure, come over, But it's just you asking, saying, hey, I know this is like just completely out of the blue, but Actually, we're still trying to book up another point for today. Are you guys by chance available? Like, I can come over in about 30 minutes, or I can come over later tonight at 8:30. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're home. Come over. Or, oh, tonight works great. So don't be afraid to ask for an immediate demo. You'll get more done, all right?
Don't overemphasize Cutco on the phone. Purpose of call is to schedule.
And then don't leave a message. Just try back later. What I would do is shoot a text. And I gave you guys an example, and it says, hey, it's on this page. Hey, this is, and I would reread this whole packet later, by the way. I would just like read through it. So this right here says, hey, Ms. Smith, this is Kathy. I promised Julie I would call you. I don't want to interrupt anything. It's a quick favor for a scholarship, or you can say for a contest. One would be, or it's a quick favor. One would be a good time to give you a quick call, and then find that out, and then you'll contact them. All right. So just shoot them a quick text. I just say, hey, I had a quick question. When's the best time to catch you? If it's a recommendation of someone, but I know them, it's like, oh, hey, I was over at Julie's. She thought you could help me out. Had a quick question. When's the best time to catch you? But that's an example. Text message, and then you want to be able to give them a call. So best vector phone times, you guys know, Monday through Friday in the morning, you catch the most people. During lunchtime is a really great time. That's why I posted today, like at 11, 12. I'm like, great phone time now, all right, with whatever random thing I put up there. Then during the week, but it gives you like when you're going to catch the most people home at different times, all right? You've got a firm up here. Firm up is really important because you don't want to just set the appointments where you want them. You want to make sure that they happen. So this walks you through the process. So James, can you walk through this real quick?
Yeah. Thank you so much. One last thing. Do you have a pen and paper nearby?
Oh, hold on. All right, go ahead.
All right. So could you just jot down that I'll be there at 6 o'clock tomorrow?
All right. So I always have them write down my confirmation number. So confirmation number, I just use the office number, 7199. This is something my manager taught me to make sure they write it down. All right. And by the way, you'll have people, James, where you're like, hey, can you write down my confirmation number? And they're like, oh, hold on, let me find a pen. Even though they already said, like when you said, do you have a pen? They really didn't. You guys have done that before, right? Someone says, write it down. You're like, oh yeah, go ahead. And then you're like not writing it down. So when you say, hey, can you write down my confirmation number just in case my boss calls? You can use your rep number. I used my rep number actually, which is 20356938. So I gave them my rep number because it was longer and they had to write it down. But you make them write it down, and that's where I caught people like, oh, it's like a real appointment? Oh, okay, hold on. They go grab a pen because obviously like they want to help you. They don't want you to get in trouble. And then I tell them to put a penny in the refrigerator. I'm like, yeah, put a penny in the fridge so it's nice and cold. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, penny in the fridge. But it builds anticipation. It builds curiosity. Every time they open the fridge, like, what is James doing with this penny? So it's just something extra. Then this was something, again, this is what I learned 16 years ago. And it'd be like, hey, draw a smiley face. So, so I'd be like, oh, can you draw a smiley face with like long hair? So you know what I look like when I come to the door. Just like kind of made them laugh. I'm like, oh, Miss Jones told me that you lived in Kendall, but she didn't let me know how to get there. What's your address? And guys, give them a main like intersection you're coming from. So here you'd be like, hey, if I'm coming from I-10 and Greenhouse, where would I go? Hey, if I'm coming from the 99 and I-10, where would I go? Like if I'm coming from 59 and the Beltway, where would I go? Give them a main place that you can kind of at least know what area you're going to. Because I have had students that are like not good with directions because you guys all live off of GPSs, your era, and you just like get addresses. And they put the address in, and they were going to their first demo in Pearland, and their second one was in the Woodlands, and their third one was in Richmond, and their fourth one was in Cypress, and their fifth one was in Pearland, And I'm like, oh my God. But if they would have known that general area, then it could have at least been like, oh, well, I'm going to be down south in the afternoon, so I could come at blank time, So in the morning, you're like, all right, I'm going to stay north in Cypress area in the morning or whatever, and then in the afternoon, I'll drive down to Richmond and knock out like 3-4 appointments, right? So I had days where I was like half a day down in Richmond, half a day up in the Woodlands. I have no problem going to the Woodlands and do 3 appointments, but I didn't want to go Richmond, Woodlands. I rather. So it's okay if it's a little bit sporadic at first, but when you get your recs, did you guys see how it has like area? Don't let them just write Houston. Tell them to be specific. Hey, are they in the Woodlands? Are they in Katy? Like as specific as they can be, because then that helps you get organized and call people in a general area if they're going to be in an area on a certain day. All right. Because I think there's no people have asked me, would you drive to Beaumont to do demos? I'd be like, heck yeah. All the top guys would, no problem. If I've got some good Beaumont leads, I'll go take a drive to Beaumont and load up a day. No problem. All right. Could you do them virtually? I could do them virtually. I enjoy cooking with people. So if I'm within driving distance, if I'm within 2 hours, 2-3 hours, I'll go drive. But I'll book up 3 or more demos that day. Now, if they're like 4 or 5 hours, I'm not going to just drive for a day. I would go for a weekend. I'd spend a weekend in Dallas and go sell over there. I'd spend a week, like, no problem. I'd go back for a day. I'd go to San Marcos or whatever for a day. I'd leave in the morning, I'd rock out 5 demos, and I'd drive back. Because I know that day, if it's worth it to me, I'm like, okay, these are all good Mac customers. I'm going to sell $1,500 to $2,000 and make $500 that day. Yeah, I'll spend the $20 in gas and put on some radio and music or put on some audios and learn while I drive and, like kick ass that day and come back. So it's up to you how you run your business. Some people want to do it all virtually, and that's fine. For me, my rule in my life has been like virtuals. If they're, if they live further away, past 2 hours, I'll do them virtually. If they're within 2 hours, I'll plan a day to go there typically. But if it's going to take longer and I want to see them now, I'll do it virtually. And I have no problem doing a weekend in a certain city, doing like 2 days and driving 5 hours to Dallas and loading up a weekend in Dallas, So up to you guys again. And anywhere you go, anywhere your vacation, you can always take your stuff with you and you can always do appointments, which is really cool too. All right. Then it has here, it says repeat address wrong. This is like an advanced thing to see if they're listening. When you're like, oh, then I make a left. You're like, oh, no, right. Then they're listening. They're like, they don't pay attention to you. So I'd probably book someone else in that time. Then it says SAP story. I'm like, hey. So the SAP story is like you driving, be like, hey, I actually drove from Richmond all the way up to Conroe for an appointment. And when I got there, the lady wasn't even there. And you're like, I know you probably wouldn't do that to me, but I know people are busy and you want to make sure it's a good time for them. All right. And then it's like, hey, get ready to move the highlight of your day. Thank you so much. So your team captains, your team leaders will also, I'd make all your first calls as much as possible. Your first week, come here. The office is open every day at 8 a.m. right now. So you can come here every day. Like someone's here at 8 a.m. opening up. Sometimes they're here earlier, 7:30, 7:45. You can check with your team leader. But definitely by 8, the office is open every day right now. 3 weeks from now, I'll be here every day at 6:45 a.m. Because we've got playoffs. So we're getting ready 3 weeks away, and I'll be coaching a group of people. And that's something for you guys to be thinking about. If you like, I'll be mapping everything out later today, coaching all of our managers. But for 2 weeks, all of our top guys go all out for playoffs, and I'm just getting ready for that. So that's going to be freaking awesome. But come in the mornings if you're not too far. Some of you guys live further, so that's fine. But get audios and stuff that you can listen to. But I have an office down in Richmond. You can go to the office down in Richmond. I have an office in there, so find out where you're at, whatever's the closest, because I have different locations. But if you want to go to the office and make calls there, you can totally do it. All right, or if you're in a certain side of town. When Chavez is on the east side doing demos in Clear Lake, he'll usually pop into the Clear Lake office and make calls there. Sometimes he pops by my Galleria office. He's made calls in my Beaumont office. Depending on where he's at. But utilize the office. He can make calls at home, but he knows he gets more done when he's here. So take advantage. And these are my top guys. He'll sell, 150 grand plus this summer. Tail sell 100 grand plus this summer. And they're here because they just know they get more done. All right. So you've got, if you guys look here, I want to show you guys the acquaintance approach and objections. And then we're just going to walk through regular office schedule, 10 keys to 10K. And I have some rapid thoughts, and I'll pass it on to the girls who are going to work with doing all your schedule, your pay stuff. Cruise, all right? I definitely want to have some people on the cruise. So you guys, whether it's something easy that you can do, they'll do it with you after, is you can just shoot out. That's how we got Adam on our team. Just shoot out a quick snap. Don't put it on your story. You can put it in your story, but something individually, because you might not look at your story. I don't go on Snapchat every day. And some people do, some people don't. But everyone always, will every single person that you're friends with open your story that day? No. All right. But will every single person, whenever they do go on Snapchat, open any of their private messages? Yes, they will. So they'll all see it. So what Adam did, and I got like 25 of his friends that had come in, that we're going to be interviewing and training, is he just did a Snapchat and sent it out to everybody that was just a picture here at the office with, I don't know, I think it was him and Tay, but it was just a picture. And it said, hey, my manager's looking for, is hiring for the summer. If you know anyone looking for work, $16 starting pay, and it's super flexible. And he just sent that to people, and then people responded, oh yeah, me, whatever. And then we got people in for interviews. Cool. So they'll help you guys out with that. But I want to show you guys this. So acquaintance approach, if you guys flip, all right, page 29. All right, so on page 28 and 29, you have handling questions on the phone. So if they tell you something, how to handle it. This is another skill you want to get really good at, okay? So first thing I would memorize is your recommendations approach, right? It's 3 sentences. I get paid every number show call. I can only call people I'm person recommended to, so what I need you to do, write down 200 to 300 people, and then I'm not going to think goodbye to anyone nice. Like that is the first thing. The second thing is your closing. You need to have your 8 and 9 down, all right? That impacts in a big, big way it takes you from the 70 to the 90% mark. Like that's one of the factors of just like knowing that. So you're closing every time, so that increases. So that's the second thing. The third thing is you want to get really dang good at the phones. You want to be really great at the phones, talking to people to set appointments when you want them. So that's why it's good to do it at the office, because you can have, managers give you tips, give you keys. These are handling questions on the phone. So when you guys are talking to people, if they say, hey, call me tomorrow, all right? So look at it. If they tell you call me tomorrow, how do you answer call me tomorrow? So we're on page 28.
Just read it.
Yep, go for it.
When's the best time to get a hold of you? She'll be there at blank. I actually have an opening at that time that I really need to fill. How about I stop real quick then?
By the way, I used to do that all the time. They're like, oh, honey, I'm in the middle of something. And like they couldn't talk. I'm like, hey, can you just call me tomorrow? I'm like, oh, when are you going to be home? After 6, we'll be home after 6. And if I had an opening, I was like, actually, you know what? I still have a 7:30 opening I was trying to fill. Can I just pop by then? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. So with people that like, that's great. And even with people that you don't know, I did that with. But asking them, all right? If they say, I'm not going to buy. James, what do you say if they say, I'm not going to buy? Everyone read along to yourself.
Okay, no problem, Mrs. Jones. I love doing presentations, so even if you don't see anything you like, it still helps me towards my goal just by listening. I'll be in and out before you know it. I need to get in one more by tomorrow, so would today or tomorrow be better for you?
Or whatever times you have, right? If they say they're busy, all right, Bruno, what do you say if they say they're busy at the top?
No problem, Mrs. Jones. So am I. That's why I'll be in and out before you know it. So could you squeeze me in real quick at blank, or would blank be better?
By the way, they're in alphabetical order. If you look at the left, it's like A, B, C, just so you know. All right, but yeah, if they ask you, oh, call me back next week, what does it say? Josh?
Okay, I can definitely do that, Mr. Jones. But I'm in a huge contest and need to compete.
5 appointments by tomorrow night.
I'll point by tomorrow night. Is there any way you can squeeze me in before then?
And you guys see the squeeze capitalized, italicized, bolded, because you want to be like, so you could squeeze me in before that. You're just like, oh, honey, call me, like, let's do the weekend. And let's say I was wanting to get during the week. And I'm like, hey, I could totally give you a call for the weekend. But then letting them know, be like, but I'm actually trying to get 10 more appointments completed before Friday. So any way you could squeeze me in before that. And I always offer, like, I can help you make dinner. I'm like, I can help you chop stuff up. I do that anyway. So you can always offer something like that. But you guys see here, so you have all, like, if they say, call before you come. Hey, Ms. Jones, I'd love to do that, but I'm going to be real busy and I cannot have your appointment. I'm like, is it better time that you know you'll be there? Like, just letting them know, because they might not reach you. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to be real busy. I'm not sure, just in case you miss me or I miss you. I'm like, is there a time that's better for you? Because I want to make sure it works for you. All right. So handling questions on the phone, this right here. So if they tell you, Brandon, I've seen the demo like 100 times. What do you say?
That's great. So you could probably do
Have fun with them. You're like, oh, you could probably do it better than me. All right, keep going.
All I have to do is stop by real quick, cut the rope, leather, and penny. You give me some pointers. It will really help me out with my contest and scholarship chance. So would you point?
Would time or time be better for you? Cool. So again, always offering. So you have everything there. And on the bottom there, guys, it says last resort. Like if there's someone who's super crazy busy, you can ask them, if you can do a virtual with them, maybe like during their lunch break at work, even if they are local, but they're like, honey, I am just nuts. We got la, 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 la. I'm like, all right, well, is there going to be like 15, 20 minutes that you're eating, but finding out, hey, we have a program where I can actually do a virtual over the phone. I don't even have to come over. Would you be willing to walk through the website with me so I could show you how awesome Cutco is, and just go through that over the phone with them. So last resort, you guys can do that. But on page 29, again, you've got phone tips all up there. And then you have your acquaintance approach, okay? So this right here was my bread and butter when I started off. I hadn't talked to a lot of people in a long time. I started my junior year of college. Like I said, got into some trouble in high school. There's people I hadn't talked to, and I was kind of disconnected. So this was great because I remember calling, I played volleyball. I played club volleyball, so I called a lot of the old parents. I remember calling Miss Peralta, and I'm like, hey, and you guys can follow along. I'm like, hey, Miss Peralta. I'm like, how are you? Or I said, this is Kathy Vasquez. How are you? I'm like, hey, I don't know if my name rings a bell, and then I dove in there, all right? And I was just like, it's Kathy from South Florida Volleyball Club with Ronnie. And she's like, oh my gosh. And I was like, how are you? We start talking, and so these take a little bit longer typically when you've talked to them a long time. We're catching up. And then whenever she was like, oh, so what's up, honey? Or how can I help you? Sometimes they say it, if not, you say it. I'm like, well, hey, Miss Ross, I was hoping you could help me out with something I'm doing. Do you have a quick second? She's like, yeah, what's up? I said, so what I'm doing, I do a quick presentation to people that I've personally been recommended, like you, on a product called Cutco. You may have already know about Cutco. I think it's a lot of fun. The best part is I get paid just to do the appointment, so there's no pressure to buy. And the more appointments I do, the better chance I have to hit my goal. So I'm actually in a huge contest. All right, so you're like, oh, Miss Broad's better, is that or whatever. So I'm actually in a huge contest right now. I'm supposed to do 10 appointments by Wednesday. So your goal right now from today to Wednesday is can you get 10 appointments done by Wednesday? Cool. By Wednesday night. So you should be saying that. So 10 appointments by Wednesday night. Really, for those of you want to make $400 in your first week, you want to make sure you're doing at least 2 a day. If you want to give your shot at making $1,000 in your first week, you've got to be completing 3 appointments a day or more. You know, if you want a shot at $10,000, it's 4 more appointments. Book 4, do 4. Book 4, do 4 every day. Make sure you book 4 new appointments and do 4 appointments if you want to hit $10,000. Cool. So that's really important. And those of you who are a little bit behind that you didn't do that this weekend, then you can get 5 a day or more. Some of the guys are going for 70, or doing more demos. So on here, so you're like, yeah. So my goal is to do 10 appointments by Wednesday night. And I only need 2 more for tomorrow to hit my goal, or I only need 1 more for the night to hit my goal, whatever it is. So I was hoping I could stop by and see you real quick, date at time, or would time be better? Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. It means a lot to me. Get directions to them. And then right there you have filling it up, right? Can you please write down that I'll be there blank at blank time, put it with the appointment, put a smiley face so you recognize me when I get there. You can stick it on your fridge. I can give you a chance to win some free stuff. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you, or I can't wait to see you again, right? For her, it was see you again. And I was like, I promise I'll be the highlight of your day. And she's like laughing. She's like, all right, sweetie, we'll see you then, but have fun with them. So this approach is awesome. We're gonna role play this so you guys can get a couple run throughs here in a minute. I wanna walk through a couple other things here with schedules. So we're gonna role play this. I want you to get comfortable, and you're gonna use that today. We're gonna make some calls, and you guys can utilize this. So now you have people you know really, really well, and now you have one for people that you know of you. Maybe it's been a while that you can use the acquaintance approach. All right, you're calling from a school directory or church directory. That this is the approach you would use for that. That's why it says calling from a directory or people that you don't know well. Or I'd say talk to regularly. Like if it's been a while, it'd be weird if I'm like, hey, reason I'm calling, I just started this new job showing Cutco. They'd be like, dude, I haven't talked to you in 5 years. So I like this where it's like, hey, I don't know if my name is Bell. It's Mickey and Armando's little soda. They're like, oh my God, how are you? How's your mom? How are your sisters? How's your brother? And those are the conversations. And then we just kind of went from there. All right. So if you guys look, so in your book, so you guys can see what we have here. The next thing is I want to show you guys. So when you're going to make calls, right, when you sit down to make phone calls, you're always going to have your schedule. But you guys, right now, you're not going to use this one this week. You're using your manual, right? But this is what should always be in your schedule at the start of the week are the main functions, to rock a big week. So we always, on Sundays, everyone's always here. By the way, you don't have to stay the whole time for calls. PSP's at 5. All right, you don't have to stay the whole time for calls, but I recommend stay as long as you need to make sure your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is booked up, And so the office is open, the team is here, people are making calls, like use the office, So we have PSP kickoff meetings. So again, paycheck schedules, phone jam, kickoff every Sunday, 5 p.m. And then we have the office is open till 9, so people can make calls afterwards. So you'll see a lot of the top guys here making calls always on Sundays. Then every morning, if you guys look, there's always Champions Club. Champions Club starts at 8 a.m. Usually every morning, and then during pushes we'll start earlier. So you guys know that. But you can come into the office. Sometimes the office is open at 7:30, but you can just check. But there's Champions Club, and that's just coming in. Those are the champions that make call. Like you commit to hey, I'm going to come to the office and make calls there. And there's always a workshop that you can watch or be a part of. And by the way, for me, my first summer, I committed to 2 Champions Clubs a week. During the week, I was going to go to at least 2. During the competitions, I went every day. But the rest of the weeks, I always went 2 days, all right, because I always learned stuff. It just got me up early. So again, whether it's this office or one of the other offices, I highly recommend that. Now, for sure, Wednesday mornings, we always meet together on Wednesday. So we have a team meeting from 10 to 1. This week, by the way, we will have your advanced training before that, which will start at 9 a.m. So there'll be some extra sales and closing tips that will start at 9 a.m. And then we'll go right into the team meeting. But normally you guys come here Sundays and Wednesdays, cool? Thursday and Saturday are bonus. I highly recommend Thursday nights. It's blocked off. It should always be blocked off in your schedule. You should never have appointments times on Thursday unless you're leaving town on Friday. This should always be blocked. This is the best, and I put here Moneymaker Phone Jam. Best time to make sure all of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is loaded up. All right. By the way, people get paid on Friday. They're in good moods. Weekends are like the best time to just crush sales We sell a lot of Cutco over the weekends. So don't miss out on that whenever you are working on the weekend. Now, if you're going to be gone for the weekend or you're not working on the weekend, do you need that time? No, you can do demos. But if you're working on the weekend, you protect that. That's like sacred Cutco time, all right? And then afterwards, you guys see TNO at night on Thursday night. TNO stands for Team Night Out. So that's what I was telling you guys, that we'll like meet up and be like, hey, we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings. Hey, we're going to be at the park, wherever we're going to be. So typically the crew that's here, we all leave from here together. And there'll always be, I don't know, I'd say at least 10 to 12 people making calls here, if not 20 or 30 during the competitions or more. But Thursday night, come in, make sure you're booked up, and then come hang out. Like we're going, it's a great time to just connect with the top people. Like I said, ask questions and build your business. All right. And then Saturday mornings, we make pancakes every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pancakes are being made. This Saturday was the exception because my little sister was landing, and I asked Ashley to pick her up before she came here. But for the rest of the summer, 8 a.m., there will be pancakes happening on Saturday mornings. So you can always come here, get some warm breakfast, wake up, and get your day started to make sure you maximize your weekend. So that's something I did because I worked Saturday. It was a big demo day for me. So take advantage of that. And then Saturday nights, I went out, slept in Sunday, went to church in the afternoon, hung out with family, and then at night, booked up stuff for the week to get the week rolling. So all my top guys, when I coach them, okay, Sunday's your best night to load your week. Between these two is the best time to load your weekend. To make sure you're always booking up, and then can you make 20 calls every single morning, 5 calls before and after each demo. If you do that, you're going to freaking crush it week in, week out. You'll be consistently booked with appointments. All right. So that's real big. So we'll go through that, but I want to make sure you guys have those things in your plan. The team captains are going to break down, what are your goals for your fast start, break down with averages and numbers to make sure that you have, what it takes to get it done. All right, if you guys flip to the next page, it says 10 keys to 10K. All right, and like I said, you could be at nothing, but these are your things. So you've heard me say this a couple times already. Number 1 is to do what? What's the first one? Recommendations. All right, approach and the objections. You want to have those memorized. So get comfortable with that. Number 2, what do you need to have? Closing approach. All right, and get your objections. By the way, you can always read your objections off there, but when you know it, there's more confidence. Number 3, participate in 3 phone jams each week. So for me, I always did Sunday nights, and for you it might be Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I also picked 2 mornings, but at least 3 times that you make phone calls from the office at whatever time, So phone jams happen each morning. Big phone jams happen Saturday, Thursday nights, and then Wednesday and Saturday mornings. And those are the big ones at the office where more people are here, are Sunday and Thursday nights, and Wednesday and Saturday mornings. But you guys can come anytime. It might just be you and me or you and Ashley, but whatever, you're gonna get extra help, you're gonna get extra support. And if it's during a push period, I'm here every day with a crew, starting in 3 weeks for 2 weeks. So number 4, field training. Take someone with you to watch your demo, go with some. So once you're over $1,000, you can actually start getting certified as a field trainer. People can come with you, you can go with them, so you can start learning, growing. But depending who you're going with, like I wouldn't want you to go see Chavez right now, because it's a different level of the business. So I'd say go with Tay. Watch
he
Tay.
He told me wait a couple weeks before I do.
Yep. For sure. For anyone going with him, needs to be a bonus land, 20K. There's some random exceptions, but 20K plus to go with him. Tay's a great person for you to go with now. She's advanced, she's good, but right on the basics. So he's had a lot of different coaching. He's at $400,000 in career sales, above that. So there's different levels of the business, and if you get too ahead, it's going to be more confusing versus going one step at a time. All right. So weekly PC with your team leader, guys. PC is a personal consultation, so make sure you're scheduling, and they'll schedule you for a time to meet with them tomorrow before the SLDM, or Wednesday after the team meeting, or Thursday during the day. Schedule a time to meet with your team leader and sit down and make a great game plan for your week, or early morning when we're here. Like I'd say, hey, meet me in the morning. All right. So that's big, and we can meet, in the morning. That's where you're going to get a lot of the extra attention. Then you've got Mission 100, so always having at least 100 names and numbers on your list. That's why we walked through that earlier today, and most of you got at least 20 to 30 more on your list. I think actually half of you got over 40 or 50, and top person over 60. But keep adding and collect numbers, all right? You want to get that. You want to have 100 names and numbers always on your list, all right? The next thing is 10 demos scheduled per week, so no matter what, like having 10 demos scheduled per week. If you're doing that, guys, in your first month, you should hit $10,000 in your first month. If you want to do that sooner, you just need to do more appointments sooner. That's it. It's all a numbers game. Number 8, we mentioned already. 5 calls when? before and after each demo. It makes a really big difference, and you'll catch people at random times that you've been trying to reach. Number 9, time management. So making sure you do have a schedule with all your stuff. And again, your first week's really busy. After your first week, we're going to sit down and make a normal schedule. That's your week-to-week schedule. Part-timers typically work 2 to 4 days a week. Full-timers work 4 to 6 days a week. It depends on your financial goals. It depends on what you want out of the summer. We're going to make a schedule that you're excited about. Cool? And so you'll have your days that you'll work, and you'll crush your demos on those days. Number 10, guys, put a star next to number 10. All right, it says the more you learn, the more you earn. So Vector Connect audio files. The ones on the bottom there are some of the first ones that I would recommend. There's tons of them. There's tons of them, and they're so good that you can listen to. But depending on what you want to work on, those are different audios that you guys can listen to while you're driving, while you're doing stuff. Like listen to those things. So we'll have Wednesday, and then this Saturday morning, I recommend your fast are coming here on Saturday morning. We have AT3, and there's one of these audios. It's just, oh my gosh, so good. And I've seen people in their last 24 to 72 hours that sell 5, 7, 10 grand or more, really finishing those last 3 days strong. So we're gonna, again, help you guys out with that. Then guys, the next thing has GCK Advancement Ladder. You guys can read through, but for those of you excited about, I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow at the SLDM, those who are there, but you wanna maximize this summer, both financially and professionally. You're looking to enhance your resume. You're looking to advance. You're looking to, move up. Like we want managers. Like if you're like, I want a career position, like I'm looking for someone to run Pearland year round, Deer Park year round, Beaumont year round, Nacogdoches year round. These are places that we want to have permanent offices. We'll keep expanding and having more, but we want permanent locations. So we're looking for people that this September are like, hey, I'm ready for a career position. Like, let's go. Company gives us $15,000 over the course of the first year to help with initial costs, $6,000 in the beginning to pay for office rent. There's bonuses, double bonus, like just different things to get going. So we're looking for people who are excited to move up. So whether it's as a sales rep, moving up in the field, or as a manager running an office and operation, and that's something that you feel you could do a good job and you enjoy coaching people and teaching people, like there's a lot of room for advancement. So what are you doing to maximize your resume this summer? What are you doing to earn opportunities and move up within a couple months? Because we've seen people, CJ Marshall, who runs Baton Rouge over in Louisiana, like he started in the summer and that fall took over. And last year was #1 Silver Cup, manager, new manager in the nation, and he like started in the fall, learned everything. And it's just like how for reps, you guys have your manual. For managers, they have a manual. They have everything they need to say and do. And I've been using my manual today, right? So you have everything. So make sure you don't forget anything. And I mean, I've done this a million times, but still, like, it's just always good to have your manual to make sure you don't leave anything out and make sure that people are trained the right way. So you've got your advancement ladders there. And then lastly, at the end, when they help you guys out, I have here for the cruise. Honestly, it's really hard for us to try to get a hold of all of your friends. The best thing is if you think to yourself, who are your top 5? Who are your top 7? Who are your top 10? So 2 things. 1, doing the social media is easy. Like send a message individually of like, hey, yo, if you know anyone looking for work, hit me up. Or like, let me know if you know anyone looking for summer work. You're going to get responses with that super easy. And then the other thing is if there's anyone that you're like, they would be really good, shoot them a text and just say, hey, I'm at work right now. I have a quick question. Are you available? Get them on the phone and literally, and just tell Lorena, like, oh, this is a friend of mine from my old job, super driven, great with people, whatever. And then call your friend and say, yo, hey, real quick, I'm with my manager right now. We have some openings available. Starting pay $16. It's a lot of fun. Flexible manager's awesome. I think you'd be really good at it. Do you have a quick second? My manager can explain it to you. Cool. So if you have anyone that you know is looking for work or you think would be really good at this, get them on the phone. Pass them over to them. All right. And then in addition to that, again, social media is an easy thing that you can just send a message saying like, hey, if you know anyone, my new job has openings for the summer, $16 starting pay, flexible. If you know anyone looking for summer work, hit me up. And then they'll be like, where is it? What is it? Whatever. And then we'll get those people and the girls, we'll explain everything to them. All right. So that's everything that you have in here. So before I bring, hey, Lorena, make sure that we're ready and to go over their pay stuff, to do social stuff, everything. Okay. I'm wrapping up here. So this week, as you guys go through this week, 3 things may happen. 10% you guys, like I mentioned before, everything will go wrong. It just won't click. You might have a bunch of no sales. This was Ethan Poole's first week. Come to the team meeting. You're all bummed out. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. All right. We're going to figure it out. Every single week is not going to be a perfect, great week. And just keep plugging. Team meeting is going to be awesome. Even if you had an awful, first 6 days of your fast start, like Ethan, his first 6 days was awful. But then his last 4 days, like things finally clicked together. He had 2 promotions, made $400. And by the way, he was my top rep that summer. Then he helped, he was an assistant manager. He ran his own office. He ran the pilot office. He came back and ran my office in 2009, and then helped with another. And so he was with me since 2002 or 3 when I started. So don't get bummed out. Just keep asking questions. You've got really great coaches. For most, 80% of people, everything's normal. It's a few sales, whatever. You're using the trade-in specials. You're using, your team leaders to help you guys with all your deals, and you'll sell $500 to $1,000, $2,000, like just normal averages. I mean, average order is $300 to $400. So depending how many demos you're doing, you're right on those numbers. And for 10% of people, I've seen like everything goes amazing. Go on, keep going, keep learning. Don't get on a high horse. I've seen people that were doing really well, and they weren't asking the right questions. They weren't trying to get better, and then they just kind of like plummeted, versus someone like a Sarah Law, where everything, she was asking questions, wanting to get better, kept improving. Number 4 in the nation that summer, number 6 in the nation that fall, or vice versa. Number 1 rookie of the year in 7 months. All right. She won. She was number 1. $55,000, $55,000 this girl earned at 18 years old in 7 months. Like freaking awesome. And she was just always looking to get better. So for the next few days, biggest key, show the right people. Make sure that you're focused on customers. All right, follow the manual. You guys know that, the page 8, 9, 16 in your phone approach. Number 3 is a positive attitude. 5-minute rule. Cool. You can be negative for 5 minutes. That's it. Call your team leader. Bitch, complain, yell, and then, okay, what do we do now? All right, and let's get over it. Character building days are good. Your best days come after your worst days, okay? You got to take the good with the bad. If everything was good, if everything was easy, guess what? Everybody would do it, and everybody would be a rock star. But my guys that are going for big goals, I always tell them, the bigger your goals are, the more challenges you're going to have to overcome. There's going to be more shit if you're tested by, like, life, God, whatever you believe in, to see if you can deserve it. Because, again, if it was easy, everyone would do it, But the champions in life, think about the biggest, like, millionaires, billionaires, whatever. Like, they dealt with failed businesses. They dealt with things going down and just kept moving forward with different ideas and didn't give up. People who've created some of the most incredible things, including lights that are in here right now. I mean, that man tried so many damn times to make a light bulb, all right, and finally it worked. Thank goodness, all right. But there's just so many things. Airplanes, on planes all the time, and I'm always like, this is so crazy that somebody looked in the sky and goes, I'm gonna make something that just like flies. Like, I can't even fly, but it's gonna fly in the sky, and it's gonna hold somebody. And then now it holds hundreds of people and thousands of pounds of luggage. I don't even know what the hell's on it. My luggage feels like it's 1,000 pounds. All right, but these, and they just like flow in the air. You're like, what? You're like, I can't even float in the damn water, but this like cruise boat is like floating. I'm like, how does this happen? All right, but they just kept persevering. They kept pushing. That's a lot. You're going to hear me talk a lot about this as I'm coaching in 3 weeks for the playoffs. It's a lot of mental toughness and mental coaching. And that's how you get through it. And that's how you go and you be the best. All right. You got to work hard. Take advantage of your fast start prizes. You never get those fast start prizes again. You only have one fast start, and just keep setting up more demos. Focus on the demos. It's all a numbers game. You guys are going to work on stuff now as you're doing all your pay stuff to make sure you're set up the right way. All right. Tonight, all orders must be online. Cutoff is every Monday night, 2 a.m. All right. So it's like midnight Pacific, basically, is when it's cut off. So by 2 a.m. Tonight, every Monday night, anything you sell tonight, by the way, will be added to your check. You go drop a homemaker tonight, boom, you just made yourself an extra $100, $150, $200 that you just earned on your paycheck. That's pretty cool. All right. So what can you do? Make sure it's all online tonight. If you have trouble, talk to your team leader to help you put it online. But again, they're going to help you here, those who haven't done it already. All right. So Mary Lou or Ashley, you guys can take over. They're going to go through with you guys and make sure that we're set up. They're going to do schedules. We'll probably have some of you guys come out here to make sure we're set up. So I want you guys to right now actually think for a moment. If you guys can write, who is the top 10 list of people that you think would be looking, that are either looking for work or you think would be really good at this? Great attitude, great work ethic. Can you make a top 10 list real quick of those people? Because they're going to help